Chapter 851. Cheap Big Brother, Advance. 3. Big Brother, why do I feel that the food today is better than the previous ones? Li Xian asked in puzzlement. Of course, little sister and the others prepared the dishes today. Li Zhong rolled his eyes at Li Xian. Oh, no wonder Won't we have a feast in the future? Li Xian said happily. In your dreams. Little sister and the others won't stay here often, Li Zhong said irritably. He also wanted to eat such delicious food every day. However, he couldn't force his sister and the others to stay here. Alas. Boo. What should I do if I can't eat it in the future? Li Xian said with a bitter face. Boo. Why did he have to eat such a delicious food? Unfortunately, none of the people sitting there paid attention to him. After Leng Ruoxue and the others arrived at the bandits' den, Leng Ruoxue decided to enter seclusion the next day. Feng De and the others also wanted to break through to mystic supremacy quickly, so they entered the space with Leng Ruoxue to cultivate. Nearly half of them chose to enter seclusion. However, Cheng Wu and the others did not enter seclusion with Leng Ruoxue and the others. After all, they were already mystic supremacies now, so purely entering seclusion could not satisfy them. While Leng Ruoxue and the others were in seclusion, their relationship with the 7 brothers of the Li family advanced by leaps and bounds. When they had nothing to do, they would even go to the Azure Dragon Mountain with those brothers to rob. Moreover, they also knew that Li Zhong and the other brothers didn't want to rob because they lacked money. They mainly wanted to rob because they were too bored. Therefore, they also looked at people when they robbed. If they were pleasing to the eye, they would mean it. If they were not pleasing to the eye, they would rob fiercely. And the eldest miss of the Qi family and the others were definitely the kind of people that the 7 brothers didn't like. The Qi family's team stayed in the Azure Dragon Mountain for nearly a month, but they lived in deep water and fire every day because they were robbed by bandits every day. No matter what gains they obtained on that day, they would become the bandits' bags the next day. Later on, the Qi family simply didn't do anything except hunt. They didn't believe that those bandits could persist. However, it didn't matter if they didn't do it. The bandits could rob their food and clothes. They had no choice but to work tirelessly for the bandits every day. Finally, after persisting for a month, they couldn't take it anymore and left the Azure Dragon Mountain in a hurry. In the meeting hall of the bandits' den, the Li brothers, Cheng Wu, and the others were gathered. The people from the Qi family are really too useless. Why did they run away so quickly? Won't we have nothing to play with in the future if they leave? Li Xiao said with a face full of regret. In this month, although they hadn't killed a single person from the Qi family, the people from the Qi family were quite frightened. They were on tenterhooks every day, and this was more satisfying than directly killing them. Thus, looks like we have to find a new toy. Li Xian was also full of regret. Number 7. Shouldn't you also go into seclusion to cultivate? Look at how hard Sister Shuer is working. You have to learn well. Li Zhong glanced at Li Xian and said lightly, Big brother, don't compare me to those perverts. Li Xian said speechlessly. Ever since the brothers found out that little Sister Shuer was in seclusion trying to break through to the mystic supremacy realm, they had become the targets of Big Brother's urging. They would nag about it almost every day before they were willing to stop. Especially him, his ears were about to grow calluses when he heard it. Boo! You have some ambition, okay? You're older than Shuer, but your strength is not as high as hers. Don't you find it embarrassing? Li Zhong said resentfully. Big brother, I'm already very hardworking. In the boundless heaven continent, I can also be considered a genius. Li Xian muttered softly. Boo! He really didn't know why little Sister Shuer and the others were so freakish. Let's enter seclusion tomorrow too. Li Zhong said after some thought. He might be a mystic supremacy now, but he had to set an example for his younger brothers. No way. Li Xian and the others looked at Li Zhong helplessly with bitter expressions. It's decided. We'll go into seclusion tomorrow. Li Zhong waved his hand and decided on this matter. Alas. The ancestors had provided them with such good conditions. They would really be sorry if they didn't make good use of them. Brother Cheng, please take care of the Azure Dragon Mountain. Our brother is in seclusion, Li Zhong said irresponsibly to Cheng Wu and the others. Okay. Cheng Wu nodded. Bandits were also swift and decisive. After making up his mind, Li Zhong led his younger brothers into seclusion. 2 months later, Cheng Wu was sitting on the grass in front of his door, playing with a furry and somewhat familiar little fox. Suddenly, he felt the heaven and earth spiritual energy gather from all directions and surge in one direction, and that direction was Leng Ruox's residence. At the same time, Song Di and the others, who felt that something was amiss, ran out of their rooms. When they saw the dense weather spiritual energy surge into Leng Ruox's room, their faces revealed happy smiles because this meant that Miss had broken through. Leng Ruoxue, who was cultivating in the bracelet, was indeed at the critical moment of her breakthrough. The spiritual energy she needed was also aplenty. After all, what she wanted to break through this time was the heaven-defying skill. Her current body was like a bottomless pit, and the amount of spiritual energy she needed was unimaginable. Leng Ruoxue, who was in the purple bamboo house, had already let go of all her senses. Thick heaven and earth spiritual energy surged into her body through her pores. At this moment, her face was in extreme pain, and the spiritual energy that entered her body was not very obedient, it was rampaging in her body. Leng Ruoxue separated a trace of divine sense and guided the heaven and earth spiritual energy in her body forward in one direction. After running 36 cycles, the heaven and earth spiritual energy was gradually fused with the original spiritual energy in her body and became obedient. She even controlled the spiritual energy to attack the same location in one go. After countless repeated and persistent collisions, there was a loud bang. Leng Ruoxue finally broke through to the 5th level of the heaven-defying skill. As she broke through to the 5th level, her body was modified by the heaven-defying skill again. The negligible impurities were cleansed again, and her vital flame also evolved again. Chapter 852, Cheap Big Brother, Advance 4. After breaking through to the 5th level, the spiritual energy accumulated in Leng Ruox's body was used up again, so she could only resign herself to fate and work hard to absorb the spiritual energy of the heaven and earth to replenish the insufficient spiritual energy in her body. After absorbing for 3 days, the spiritual qi in Leng Ruox's body recovered to about 20%. Even though it was only 20%, she could absolutely do whatever she wanted in the vast heaven continent. Because these 20% of spiritual qi in her body were enough to bring her to the level of a mystic supremacy cultivating for several hundred years. After Leng Ruoxue opened her eyes, she saw the freak smiling at her. "Freak, when did you wake up?" Leng Ruoxue leaned into the freak's embrace and asked curiously. "Before you broke through," the freak explained with a light smile. "Why do you always wake up before me?" Leng Ruoxue pretended to be dissatisfied. "Because you need more spiritual energy than me," the freak coaxed. "That's true, Sai. My body is a bottomless pit. Fortunately, I have the heaven and earth bracelet. Otherwise, I really don't know where to get so much heaven and earth spiritual energy." Leng Ruoxue complained softly. "Boo-hoo, the spiritual energy she needed was unimaginable to others. Do you think fortune is so easy to obtain? Other people need much less spiritual energy than you. They also don't have opportunities like you," the freak said affectionately. Yes, that makes sense." Leng Ruoxue nodded repeatedly. Actually, she wasn't complaining. She just wanted to act coquettishly with the freak. She also wanted to be coaxed after all. "Schwer, let's go out. Cheng Wu and the others are already waiting anxiously outside," the freak said understandingly. "Why haven't grandfather and the others come out of seclusion yet?" Leng Ruoxue was a little puzzled. According to grandfather and the others' cultivation levels, they should have come out of seclusion before her. "Don't be anxious. They should be here soon," the freak comforted. "Okay." Leng Ruoxue nodded and pulled the freak out of the purple bamboo house. After exiting the purple bamboo house, Leng Ruoxue directly unlocked the 5th layer of the seal for Qingju. After removing the seal, there were 10 more pieces of land that Qingju liked, and Qingju actually obtained the ability to read minds. Leng Ruoxue was very satisfied with this ability. Even though the baby could read minds, she had to bring the baby out of the bracelet so that the baby could use it on others. If Qingju also had this ability, then what he possessed would naturally belong to her as his master. Therefore, it would be more convenient for her. This was what her irresponsible master thought. After doing all this, Qingju brought his little black dog sidekick and ran to a corner to discuss how to use the newly appeared land. Leng Ruoxue and the freak left the bracelet. Just as they left the room, they saw Cheng Wu and the others gathered outside the door, anxiously walking around. "Miss, you're out." Cheng Wu and the others immediately surrounded Leng Ruoxue and the freak when they saw them. "Okay." Leng Ruoxue nodded. It had been a few months since they last met. It seemed they were living quite comfortably. "Miss, why are there only the two of you?" Song Di couldn't help asking curiously when he saw that there was no one else behind Mississippi. "They haven't come out of seclusion yet." Leng Ruoxue explained. "Oh." Cheng Wu and the others nodded. Then, everyone reported their results for nearly 3 months. "You're in charge of the Azure Dragon Mountain now?" Leng Ruoxue was a little surprised. Brother Li and the others were too easy to trust. "That's right. Everything on Azure Dragon Mountain is as usual," Cheng Wu said proudly. "Oh, since Big Brother Li and the others have temporarily handed over Azure Dragon Mountain to you, work hard. Don't let Big Brother Li down," Leng Ruoxue reminded. "Yes, Mississippi. When are we leaving Azure Dragon Mountain?" Cheng Wu asked curiously. Even though the environment on Azure Dragon Mountain was good and they got along well with the bandits in the mountain, he preferred to take risks with Mississippi. "Let's wait for Big Brother Li and the others to come out of seclusion," Leng Ruoxue said after thinking for a while. She originally wanted everyone to leave after advancing, but Big Brother Li and the others entrusted the Azure Dragon Mountain to Cheng Wu and the others. In this way, they couldn't leave easily. Otherwise, if anything happened to the Azure Dragon Mountain, wouldn't they be letting down the trust of Big Brother Li and the others? "Okay." Cheng Wu and the others nodded. A week after Leng Ruoxue and the freak came out of seclusion, Leng Qingtian and the others also came out. "Grandpa, you're finally out," Leng Ruoxue said happily when she saw Leng Qingtian and the others. "Ah, Shuer, you must be anxious from waiting," Leng Qingtian said happily. "It's okay," Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. She and the freak had not advanced to mystic supremacy after coming out of seclusion because they were waiting for their grandfather and the others. "Grandpa, let's advance first," Leng Ruoxue suggested. In the past few days, she and the freak had circled around the bandits' nest and found a place with no one. It was very suitable for them to advance. "Okay." Leng Qingtian nodded. After that, everyone followed Leng Ruoxue and the freak to the place they had found beforehand, preparing to advance collectively. "Grandpa, almost no one comes here. It's not bad, right?" Leng Ruoxue brought her grandfather and the others to a canyon and asked. Leng Qingtian raised his head and looked at the canyon in front of him. This canyon only had one entrance, and the entrance was very small. It could only accommodate 3 people at a time at most, so it could be considered a good secret place. "Yes, not bad." Leng Qingtian nodded in satisfaction. This place was quite suitable for seclusion. Moreover, it was easy to defend but difficult to attack. "We can begin to advance now," Leng Ruoxue reminded. They had so many beasts, if they didn't find a place with fewer people, they would scare others. After speaking, Leng Ruoxue directly sat cross-legged on a large limestone and moved the beasts out of her bracelet, preparing to advance. The others also found seats and sat down. At the same time, they summoned their beasts. Before long, the dazzling laws of the world descended into the valley. Leng Ruoxue and the others worked very hard to absorb the blessings of the world after advancing to mystic supremacy until the laws of the world slowly dissipated. Chapter 853, Cheap Big Brother, Advance, 5. Immediately after, the beasts advanced wave after wave. Because Leng Ruoxue's heaven-defying skill broke through the 5th level, her beasts obtained the most benefits. Among them, Bai Zu's level was still the highest. He had reached level 9 Transcendent Divine Beasts, Feng Zhan was level 8 Transcendent Divine Beasts, and Charm was level 7 Transcendent Divine Beasts. He was just a step away from advancing to level 8 Transcendent Divine Beasts. Baby and the other beasts directly advanced to level 6 Transcendent Divine Beasts. The Silver Wolves and the other slightly weaker beasts also reached level 5 Transcendent Divine Beasts. In short, Leng Ruoxue was still the biggest winner in this advancement. At the same time, the advancement of the beasts also brought her huge benefits. As for the others, they naturally had their own gains. In short, everyone was happy. After Leng Ruoxue and the others finished their advancement, everyone celebrated and then temporarily stayed in Azure Dragon Mountain. A month after their advancement, Lin Liang and the others finally came out of seclusion. Everyone chatted for a while, then Leng Ruoxue brought them to the canyon they had advanced to. When Lin Liang and the others came out of seclusion, each of them advanced 2 levels consecutively and directly became mystic supremacies. I say, no wonder you old fellows can't bear to come out of seclusion. So you're all waiting to directly advance to mystic supremacy. Leng Qingtian said in realization from the bracelet. Hee, we were also forced into a corner. Who asked you to cultivate too quickly? Wouldn't we be dragging you down if we don't work hard? Lin Liang said matter-of-factly. They were already clearly aware of the difference in their cultivations with Leng Qingtian and the others after they came out of seclusion the last time. So, they'd secretly decided that they wouldn't come out unless they advanced to mystic supremacy. After all, everyone was suppressing their anger. Yes, that makes sense. Leng Qingtian nodded in agreement. These old men were all unyielding, so he understood their thoughts very well. If it was him, he would probably do the same. However, he still felt quite aggrieved thinking that he hadn't seen these old friends for so long. We won't be in seclusion often in the future, so don't be like this. Lin Liang couldn't stand the expression on Leng Qingshan's face. That's right. I've been busy cultivating as a mystic cultivator recently and haven't refined weapons for a long time, so I shouldn't be in seclusion for the time being, the disheveled old man promised. Yes, I'm afraid you must have lost touch. Leng Qingtian gloated. Of course. I have to work hard on weapon refinement recently, the disheveled old man said hurriedly. Then he turned to Leng Ruoxue. Lass, you have to provide me with more materials for weapon refinement. Okay, just ask Qing Ju for it, Leng Ruoxue reminded. All right, I'll look for him now. After the disheveled old man said that, he ran off to look for Qing Ju anxiously. Grandpa, you guys chat. I'll go out with the freak, Leng Ruoxue suddenly said. After speaking, she pulled the freak out of the bracelet. Cheng Wu and the others had just returned from their robbery. Recently, Cheng Wu, Feng De, and the others often brought people out to rob and pluck some herbs. They left early and returned late every day. Miss, we gained quite a lot today. Feng De raised the storage ring in his hand and said as if he was presenting a treasure. You robbed something good? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. How can there be good things? The people who come to the Azure Dragon Mountain are afraid that they will be robbed by bandits. They won't bring any valuable things at all. Alas, it's not easy to be a professional bandit. If things go wrong, they will starve to death. Feng De said sympathetically. They didn't know if they didn't enter this line of work. It was also very difficult to be a bandit. Fortunately, the bandits in the Azure Dragon Mountain weren't short of money and only treated robbery as a boring game. Otherwise, they would have starved to death long ago. What did you get? Leng Ruoxue was puzzled. We dug up a lot of herbs of good quality and also found some rare ores, Feng De said happily. They might not be alchemists or weapons masters, but because of Miss, they had a certain understanding of herbs and ores. Ever since they came out of seclusion, they would wander around the mountain when they had nothing to do, robbing and picking herbs as a dragon. That's right. Leng Ruoxue took the ring and looked at it. Then she placed the ring into the bracelet and handed it to Qing Ju. Feng De, Grandpa Lin and the others have also advanced to mystic supremacy. Let's celebrate tonight. Prepare yourselves well, Leng Ruoxue instructed. Okay. Miss, are you still in the space? Feng De asked. No, just outside. Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. Then she handed Feng De a ring containing the food she had prepared beforehand. Okay, let's go get ready, Feng De said and left. At night, Feng De and the others lit a few bonfires in the open space in front of the house and roasted the packed fish and meat on the fire. After all the food was ready, Leng Ruoxue and the others sat around the empty space and started eating. It smells so good. A familiar voice suddenly sounded in everyone's ears halfway through their meal. Big Brother Li, you're out of seclusion. Leng Ruoxue said in surprise. Yes. He. Li Zhong said with a smile. He did not stand on ceremony and directly picked up a piece of grilled golden meat to eat. I came out after a few months of seclusion and my cultivation improved slightly. You must be anxious. Li Zhong said understandingly. He knew that Leng Ruoxue and the others had other things to do. However, because they didn't come out of seclusion, the Azure Dragon Mountain was leaderless, so they didn't leave. Thinking of this, his heart couldn't help warming. No, the environment of Azure Dragon Mountain is good, there are clear mountains and clear waters, and there are countless herbs. Why are we in a hurry to leave? Leng Ruoxue said honestly. They had gained quite a lot after staying in Azure Dragon Mountain for a few months. That's good. Li Zhong smiled foolishly. Big Brother Li, when are the other brothers coming out of seclusion? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. The spiritual energy in this Azure Dragon Mountain was very good. Moreover, there was a spirit vein under the ground where the bandits' nest was. Therefore, if they didn't have the Heaven and Earth bracelet, this was a good place to cultivate. I'm afraid they won't be able to come out for a while, Li Zhong said after some thought. Oh, this is a good place to cultivate. You should treasure it. Leng Ruoxue nodded. This might have been discovered by our Li family's ancestor, but if that ancestor wasn't powerful, he probably wouldn't have been able to protect this Azure Dragon Mountain. Therefore, we will let the ancestors down if we don't cultivate properly. Li Zhong nodded. That's right, Big Brother Li. There's no banquet that doesn't end in this world. Since you've already come out of seclusion, then we'll leave tomorrow. We'll meet again. Leng Ruoxue said bluntly. This was something she had long planned. Okay, I know Sister Schwer has other things to do. Big Brother won't force you to stay since you want to leave. However, you have to remember that this Azure Dragon Mountain will always be your home and you are welcome to return anytime, Li Zhong said very sincerely. Yes, Big Brother forgot that I still have your Green Dragon Mountains token in my hand. You can come anytime you want, Leng Ruoxue reminded. That's right. Sister Schwer, if there's anything in the future that requires Big Brother's help, send a letter to Big Brother. Big Brother won't refuse, Li Zhong reminded. Okay, I won't stand on ceremony with my brother, Leng Ruoxue promised. Because of Li Zhong's unexpected appearance, this meal actually became everyone's farewell banquet in the end. However, everyone was still very happy. After dinner, Feng De and the others were basically drunk and directly lay down to sleep. Li Zhong was brought back to his residence by his subordinates. The next day, when Feng De and the others woke up, it was almost noon. They had a simple meal and planned to go on their way. Outside Leng Ruoxue and the others' residence, one of Li Zhong's subordinates was ordered to send Leng Ruoxue and the others off. Miss, our big boss gave this to you. The subordinate handed her a ring. Where is Big Brother Li? Leng Ruoxue took the ring and looked at it. She couldn't help asking in surprise. This ring was actually filled with herbs of the Heaven and Earth treasure level. This farewell gift was really too precious. Leader isn't awake yet. He instructed me to prepare it before bed yesterday. I hope Miss Leng is satisfied, the subordinate said. I'm very satisfied. Thank you. Help me pass this to Big Brother Li. Leng Ruoxue also handed over a ring. She naturally wouldn't take someone else's things for nothing, so she secretly instructed Qingju to prepare a generous gift. Okay, Miss Leng, I'll send you down the mountain. No need, go take care of Brother Li. We can find the way. After Leng Ruoxue finished speaking, she left the bandits' den with everyone. Chapter 854. The Storm Rises Again, 1. At this moment, Li Zhong was standing at the highest point of the meeting hall, watching Leng Ruoxue and the others leave. Head of family, Miss Leng didn't let me send her and asked me to come back and take care of you." A moment later, his subordinate returned and reported. Then he handed the ring Leng Ruoxue gave to Li Zhong. "Got it, you can leave." Li Zhong took the ring and glanced at it, his face revealing a helpless expression. Alas, this girl. She still called him Big Brother. She didn't even want to take advantage of him, and the value of the things she returned was more than what he gave away. He didn't know when he would see this little sister again. After a long while, Li Zhong reluctantly turned around and returned to his room to catch up on his sleep when he couldn't see Leng Ruoxue and the others. Leng Ruoxue and the others had stayed in the Azure Dragon Mountain for a few months and were already quite familiar with the terrain here. Therefore, they left the Azure Dragon Mountain very smoothly and did not meet any teams training along the way. "Miss, where are we going?" Lu Tao asked curiously after leaving Azure Dragon Mountain. "Dark Night Seas," Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. She could finally go to the Dark Night Seas. Hopefully that place could give her a surprise. "Lass, we can finally go there. I heard that there are many ores there. At that time, we have to collect more," the disheveled old man said rather excitedly. When they just arrived at the vast heaven continent, they wanted to go there. However, Icy said that their strength was too low and couldn't go. Now they could finally go. Yes. Leng Ruoxue nodded. "Lass, the Dark Night Seas is famous for its dangers. I've never been there before." "I'm borrowing your light this time," the little old man said happily. Even though he was a mystic supremacy, he didn't dare to go to the Dark Night Seas alone. There will be opportunities if there's danger. Moreover, there won't be any danger if we go together. Leng Ruoxue smiled. "Our strength is here. It would be unreasonable if we encounter danger." The little old man nodded in agreement. Everyone chatted happily as they walked. Unknowingly, they had already walked thousands of meters out of the Azure Dragon Mountain. Leng Ruoxue saw that the place was very spacious, so she let the little peacock out and drove them towards the Dark Night Seas. The Dark Night Seas was very far from the Azure Dragon Mountain. Not only did they have to fly closer to 10 cities, but they also had to pass through 2 mountains and finally reach the vast plain before they could reach their destination. That was also the only entrance to the Dark Night Seas that they had to pass through. Therefore, if they wanted to go to the Dark Night Seas, it would take at least 20 days or a month if it was slow. Due to the long journey, Leng Ruoxue and the others were not in a hurry either. They flew and stopped along the way, and they would even stop to stay for a few days if they encountered a city they liked. And the city they were in now was a very famous city in the vast heaven continent. It was called Green Cloud City. Even though the city was not big, the advantage was that the environment was good, the people were simple, and it was a good place to settle down. Green Cloud City was a city beside a mountain and sea. At this moment, Leng Ruoxue and the others were enjoying a rare peace by the sea. Feng De brought his subordinates and brothers to the sea to fish for seafood. After a long time, Feng De and the others finally came ashore from the sea. "Miss, we're back." Peach couldn't help shouting as soon as she came ashore. Leng Ruoxue, who was lying on the recliner and basking in the sun, raised her eyes slightly and looked at them. However, when she saw the thing in Feng De and the others' hands, 2 drops of cold sweat couldn't help dripping down her forehead. Didn't these people go to the sea to catch seafood? Then what were they carrying? "Miss, we're back." Lu Tao and Cui Zhu ran to Leng Ruoxue's side and repeated. "Yes, what did you catch?" Leng Ruoxue asked casually. "A lot of fish, but we picked up a person," Peach whispered. "Can you also pick up people in the sea?" "Your luck is really good," Leng Ruoxue said speechlessly. "Why weren't the people who fell into the sea eaten by the sea beasts?" "Miss, that person is still breathing," Lu Tao added. "Alive? That's really rare," Leng Ruoxue said calmly. This sea area wasn't big, and the seawater was so shallow that one could see the bottom with a glance. However, there were still sea beasts. Even if they were only low-level sea beasts, it would be very easy to eat a person. She didn't expect to actually pick up a living person. "Miss, we've seen that person before. He's that Luo Lin we met in the Azure Dragon Mountain," Lu Tao explained. They all knew the relationship between Miss and the Luo family. Otherwise, they might not have meddled in other people's business. It's him. Leng Ruoxia's beautiful face was full of suspicion. She might not agree with this cheap servant of the Luo family, but he was her man after all. He had made a blood oath, so she naturally couldn't leave him in the lurch since she had encountered him. Yes, miss, he's badly hurt, said Peach. Let him take this. Leng Ruoxia thought for a while and took out a golden pill from her bracelet and handed it to Lu Tao. It was the best healing pill. The herbs needed to refine it were abnormally precious, and they rarely used it usually. Yes. Lu Tao took the pill and turned to feed it to Luo Lin. The effects of top-notch healing pills were naturally extraordinary. Not long after, Luo Lin slowly woke up. However, when he just woke up, he was still a little lost. After seeing Leng Ruoxia, he suddenly thought that the goddess in the sky had saved him. Luo Lin, do you remember us? Leng Ruoxia asked lightly. Luo Lin's brain was in a mess. He couldn't remember anything now. We met at Azure Dragon Mountain, Leng Ruoxia reminded. I remember now. Thank you for saving me, Luo Lin said gratefully. He didn't know what they had fed him, but he knew that his injuries had all healed when he felt the abundant spiritual energy in his body. Why are you here? Who injured you? Leng Ruoxia asked bluntly. I met a robber, Luo Lin stammered, his eyes flickering. Is that so? Luo Lin, I'll give you one last chance. It's up to you to decide if you want to tell the truth, Leng Ruoxia warned with slight displeasure. Even though Qin Ju could read minds, she didn't want to do this unless it was absolutely necessary. Chapter 855. The Storm Rises Again too. My Luo family was besieged. It wasn't easy for me to escape. Luo Lin's heart tightened because of Leng Ruoxia's words. He couldn't help telling the secret he wanted to hide. However, he was a little choked up halfway through. Who? Leng Ruoxia suppressed her anger and asked. Damn it, one had to look at the owner before beating a dog. How dare he touch her people? He was really tired of living. Miss, thank you for saving me. It's better if you don't know about this. Luo Lin regretted speaking about the Luo family. Alas, he didn't want to implicate them. After all, these people were his benefactors. The other party is very powerful. I don't want to implicate you, Luo Lin added under Feng De and the others' unfriendly gazes. Implicate us? Could it be the Lan and Leng families that attacked the Luo family? Feng De asked curiously. No. Luo Lin was a little speechless. How could a super family take a fancy to their Luo family? Then what are you afraid of? Feng De said resentfully. He really wanted to kick Luo Lin twice for his displeasure. I'm afraid I'll implicate you. The other party is very fierce. If I know that you saved me, I'm afraid you'll also be in trouble, Luo Lin said honestly. Those people were probably looking for fish that had slipped through the net all over the world now. I've never been afraid of trouble that I shouldn't be afraid of. Brat, tell us quickly who attacked the Luo clan so that we can avenge you. Feng De coaxed. You're willing to take revenge for me? Luo Lin was pleasantly surprised and touched. Alas, he had tasted the coldness and warmth of human relationships since the Luo family's accident. The families that were on good terms with the Luo family in the past either avoided him or refused to cooperate. He didn't expect these people who had only met him once to be willing to take revenge for him. Nonsense, why else would we ask you these questions? Feng De roared angrily. This kid had to train well. His words were too blunt. He was anxious. I appreciate your kind intentions, but there are so few of you who can't help me. After the joy, Luo Lin calmed down. Brat, are you looking down on us? Let me tell you, if we can't help you, then no one in this world can help you. Feng De roared furiously. He and his companions had always been straightforward with each other, saying whatever was on their minds. Therefore, the lack of communication with Luo Lin made him want to beat someone up. Thank you. I'm very grateful for your kind intentions, but you can't help me. The only person who can help the Luo family is our master, so I have to find my master. I'm sorry, I'll take my leave. Luo Lin got up from the beach and turned around, planning to leave. He knew that if he was with them, these people would be implicated by him if the enemy found him. Stop right there. Are you looking for Leng Ruoxue? Leng Ruoxue roared uncontrollably. You know my master? Luo Lin said with some surprise. Master's reputation was very resounding in the boundless heaven continent a few years ago. However, in the recent few years, he disappeared without a trace. Furthermore, there were very few news of Master's matters. Therefore, wanting to look for Master was no different from finding a needle in a haystack. Therefore, seeing his benefactor knowing his master, he was surprised in his heart. However, he did not dare to have too much hope. Yes, Leng Ruoxue said lightly. How could she not know her? Then do you know the whereabouts of my master? Luo Lin hesitated and finally asked. I know. Leng Ruoxue nodded. It was right in front of her. Can you tell me? Luo Lin asked expectantly, excited. I'm Leng Ruoxue, Leng Ruoxue said helplessly. Ah. Luo Lin was a little dumbfounded. I say, you silly boy. Think about it. If we had never known you, why would we be so enthusiastic to avenge you? Feng De said helplessly. This boy was most likely scared silly by others. Are you really Leng Ruoxue? My master of the Luo family? Luo Lin, who only regained his senses after a while, said in disbelief. I'm Leng Ruoxue. Your Luo family has also sworn a blood oath to me to be my servant. However, the Luo family doesn't seem to be willing to have me as their master, so I don't want to force it. In short, you can only be considered strangers who have a blood oath with me, Leng Ruoxue explained calmly. Master, the Luo family only recognizes you as their master, Luo Lin said with a bitter smile. He knew that the Luo family and master's relationship was not very harmonious, so he did not know what to say. Let's not talk about this first. Tell me what's going on with the Luo family and who attacked the Luo family? Leng Ruoxue asked bluntly. After all, the Luo family had sworn a blood oath, so she couldn't stand by and do nothing even if she didn't acknowledge the Luo family enough. The Luo clan has been developing very well in recent years, so it has aroused the jealousy of some families. This time, it was the Luo clan that was jointly attacked by several families. Now, Luo City and Martial Immortal City have probably been divided up by them, Luo Linyu said with hatred, tears flowing faintly in her eyes. Who are they? Leng Ruoxue asked in an unfriendly tone. With the Su family as the leader, there's still the Bai, Qi, and Zhao families, Luo Lin said with tears in his eyes. The Su family? Leng Ruoxue sighed. After dealing with the Sun family, she was in a hurry to enter seclusion and ignored the Su family. Yes, led by the Su family. Master, the Luo family suffered heavy losses this time. There were countless casualties, Luo Lin said with a pained expression. Does the Luo family have any communication signal? Leng Ruoxue asked. Yes. Luo Lin nodded. Then gather all the surviving members of the Luo family, Leng Ruoxue instructed. Yes, Luo Lin replied. If you need anything, ask Feng De to cooperate with you, Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. Yes. Luo Lin was very happy. It felt really good to find an organization and have someone backing him up. For some reason, after he knew that the beautiful girl in front of him was his master, his heart actually felt a sense of peace that he had never felt before at this moment. The panic from being displaced and at a loss for what to do seemed to have calmed down at this moment. After making some simple arrangements, Leng Ruoxue brought everyone back to the inn. Chapter 856. The Storm Rises Again 3. A few days later, Leng Ruoxue met the heavily injured Luo Xian and Luo Fei father and son. She also learned more about the inside story from them. However, the more she knew, the angrier she became. This was because this actually involved some people from the Leng family, and these people were most likely here for her. In the guest room, the freak hugged the silent Leng Ruoxue and comforted her gently. Schwer, there's no need to be so angry over a few clowns. Just kill them. Yes, looks like we're still too kind. Leng Ruoxue nodded in agreement. Feng De and the others will definitely be happy now, the freak teased with a light smile. Well, take action when they return, Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. She sent Feng De and the others to look for the Luo family members who were still alive. However, almost 10 days had passed, and Feng De and the others had yet to return. By the way, the injuries of the Luo father and son should be almost healed, right? The freak asked. Yes, your injuries are healed, but your body is still a little weak. You have to rest for a few days, Leng Ruoxue said. The father and son had been injured for too long and hadn't received timely treatment, so their foundation had been injured. Just as the two of them were chatting, there was a knock on the door. The freak stood up and went to open the door. Miss, we're back. Feng De and the others couldn't help but shout as soon as they entered the room. Why did you guys take so long? Leng Ruoxue was puzzled. This place was at most 3 days away from Luo City. Miss, we stayed in Luo City and Martial Immortal City for a few days to understand the situation there. Moreover, we rescued many Luo family members who were locked up by them, Feng De explained. Oh. Leng Ruoxue nodded. Miss, the Su family is really ruthless. I don't know what to say about the Luo family members who were arrested. Feng De said angrily. Tell me. Leng Ruoxue was very calm. She had already guessed that the Luo family, who had fallen into the hands of the enemy, would not have a good life. The men of the Luo clan had their meridians crippled, and the women were. Feng De really couldn't continue. How many people were captured alive? Leng Ruoxue asked lightly. Less than 100 people, and the ones who survived are all men, Feng De explained. They only saw the corpses of the women from the Luo clan, and the men were tortured beyond recognition. What about those who weren't caught? Leng Ruoxue continued to ask. After we left the Luo clan's secret signal in Luo City and Martial Immortal City, only 30 people from the Luo clan came to seek refuge. Furthermore, they were all injured. Feng De was very helpless. Let's settle them down. After they recover, we'll go to Luo City and Martial Immortal City, Leng Ruoxue instructed. Yes. Miss, the old ancestor of the Luo clan wants to see you. Feng De said again. Oh, let him in. Leng Ruoxue nodded. Yes, Feng De answered and left. Soon he brought in an old man in ragged clothes. The old man knelt on the ground with tears in his eyes as soon as he saw Leng Ruoxue. He cried, Master, our Luo family is gone. Boo! I've let Master down. Where there's life, there's hope. The Luo family didn't die, why are you crying? Leng Ruoxue pretended to reprimand. In her mind, as long as there was still a breath left, there was hope for revenge. Moreover, it was not too late for a gentleman to take revenge. Even if he couldn't take revenge now, he would one day. Therefore, the most important thing was for someone to live. If everyone was gone, there would naturally be no hope for revenge. Master is right. The old ancestor of the Luo clan wiped his tears and said with some embarrassment. Boo! He had lived for such a long time, but he was actually not as clear-minded as a little child. Alas! Otherwise, how could she be their master? Thinking of this, his heart couldn't help becoming bright. Moreover, he believed that as long as his master was around, there was nothing he couldn't take revenge for. Get up. You don't have to kneel. Leng Ruoxue didn't like to see such an old man kneeling in front of her while crying. It felt strange. Yes. The old ancestor of the Luo clan stood up obediently, but he kept bowing to show his absolute respect for Leng Ruoxue. Do you have any plans? Leng Ruoxue probed. Master, I want to avenge the Luo clan's dead clansmen. Please help me, the Luo clan's old ancestor pleaded. He knew that no one could help him now except for Master. He might not know Master's true strength, but he was confident that Master could definitely seek justice for the Luo clan. There's no problem with taking revenge. However, have you ever thought that even if you take revenge with your Luo family's current strength, you probably won't be able to have a foothold in the boundless heaven continent either? I have to leave this world sooner or later. If the same thing happens again next time, I'm afraid I won't be able to do anything, Leng Ruoxue reminded. After advancing to mystic supremacy, she was clear that she wouldn't stay in this world for long. This time, she could help the Luo family take back everything that they had lost. However, if the Luo family couldn't defend it, they would lose it sooner or later. Please enlighten me, Master. The old ancestor of the Luo clan was very respectful. "He'll only give you 10 years. You have to rely on yourselves to develop the Luo family," Leng Ruoxue said indifferently. The Luo family had a blood oath with her that they would never betray her, so she was very willing to give them a chance. However, whether they could grasp it depended on themselves. 10 years? "Master, you know our Luo family's current appearance?" The Luo family's old ancestor was a little hesitant. He could hear what Master meant. If the Luo family could not do anything in 10 years, Master would not be able to help them. However, with the Luo family's current situation, forget 1 decade, even 10 years would be very difficult to recover. Furthermore, even during the Golden Age, the Luo family's strength in the boundless heaven continent could only be considered above average. Therefore, he felt that 10 years was simply not enough. "Since I've given you 10 years, I'll naturally provide all of your help. As for the injured clansmen, you don't have to worry. I'll treat them. After taking revenge this time, you just have to focus on developing the Luo clan," Leng Ruoxue explained. Chapter 857. The Storm Rises Again 4. "Thank you, Master. Our Luo clan will definitely not disappoint you." The old ancestor felt relieved after hearing Leng Ruoxue's words. Fortunately, Master did not give up on them. Otherwise, their Luo clan would really be finished. "Give these pills to your clansmen. Well, take revenge after they recover." Leng Ruoxue took out a few bottles of pills from her ring and handed them to the Luo clan's old ancestor. "Thank you for the reward, Master," the old ancestor of the Luo clan said happily. He bowed to Leng Ruoxue and left the room. "Shuer, are you planning to accept these servants?" the freak asked with a light smile after the Luo clan's old ancestor left. "They're too weak and can't help me much. However, they won't betray me with the blood oath, so I'll help if I can. As for the future, I'll depend on their Luo family," Leng Ruoxue said softly. "And they are indeed too weak now. However, they hugged this big tree of yours, destined to have a place in the boundless heaven continent," the freak said knowingly. "It's a little too early to say this now. What if the Luo family is a hopeless situation? Moreover, acknowledging me as your master might not be a good thing for the Luo family," Leng Ruoxue said faintly. She had many enemies. If the Luo family couldn't protect themselves, it would cause a sect-destroying disaster. Someone from the Leng family was also involved in this matter. She didn't know if it was because of her. Sigh. "Shuer, don't think about this. Let's go out and take a walk." The freak changed the topic. He didn't want to see Shuer unhappy. "Okay." Leng Ruoxue nodded, and then the two of them left the restaurant. 3 days later, the injuries of the Luo family members had already healed with Leng Ruoxue's medicinal pills. Not only that, but their strength had actually increased. This made them wild with joy, and the hatred that had lingered in their hearts for the past few days was slightly relieved. At the same time, they saw hope for revenge and even had a trace of anticipation for the Luo family's future. Among the Luo family, other than Luo Xian and his son and Luo Lin, it was basically the first time everyone had seen their master. However, just this time, their admiration for Leng Ruoxue had risen to an unprecedented height. Right now, they were blindly obedient to Leng Ruoxue. If Leng Ruoxue said 1, they would not say 2. They would do whatever she asked them to do and were extremely obedient. At the entrance of the restaurant, Leng Ruoxue looked at the Luo family members who had recovered well and said with a faint smile, "Let's go. Let's go to Luo City first." With that, everyone sat on the back of the little peacock that had been waiting by the side. After everyone sat down, the little peacock flapped its wings and rushed into the clouds. After flying for 2 days, Leng Ruoxue and the others arrived in Luo City. At this moment, Luo City had already been occupied by the Bai and Zhao families. The city gate was also plastered with portraits of the Luo family. After the little peacock landed at the city gate, Leng Ruoxue and the others jumped off the little peacock's back and walked directly towards the city gate. "Guards! It's the Luo family. Hurry up and report to the city lord." The guards who had recognized the Luo family roared at the top of their lungs before Leng Ruoxue and the others approached. Immediately, The city gate was in chaos. The guards even turned around and returned to the city. At the same time, the city gate was slammed shut with a loud bang. The guards in the city ran to the city wall and looked down at them. Leng Ruoxue looked at the guards' reactions with a black face and was a little speechless. What did they mean? Shouldn't they be the ones afraid in the eyes of these guards? Why were these guards like frightened birds? This reaction was really too strange. You demons, the city lord won't let you go. You're dead meat. A guard roared bravely, but his trembling body revealed his fear. Demon? Did I hear wrongly? Leng Ruoxue didn't expect these guards to have such great ability to distort the truth. Wasn't the person being tortured from the Luo family? Why did they become demons instead? This was obviously the villain complaining first. Demon, I didn't expect you to still dare to come back. The city lord has already set up an inescapable net and is waiting for you, the guard continued. However, his head was hit ruthlessly. Sigh, why did you hit me? The guard glared at the person who hit him and said unhappily. You idiot, who asked you to say this? That person roared uncontrollably. Didn't you say that we can't lose in terms of imposing manner? The guard was very aggrieved. Are you done discussing? Leng Ruoxue looked at the guards who were out of line and large beads of sweat rolled down her forehead. What do you want? The guard asked nervously. Boo. This woman gave him a lot of pressure. Of course we want to enter the city. If you know what's good for you, quickly open the city gate. Otherwise, I will have to use force. Leng Ruoxue said politely before resorting to force. How dare you? The city lord won't let you go. The guard carried the city lord out when he heard that. It doesn't matter. Today will be their death date, Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. She couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with them anymore and directly moved Lao Mao and the pythons out of the bracelet. The two hairy beasts had already acknowledged him as their master before the disheveled old man advanced. Therefore, after the disheveled old man advanced, they also advanced to level 7 transcendent divine beasts. However, because they were already used to living in the space, they stayed in the space after recognizing him as their master. Mississippi. Two hairy beasts and the pythons called out affectionately after coming out. Okay, attack the city, Leng Ruoxue ordered directly. With her order, the two hairy beasts and the pythons immediately returned to their original forms and rushed to the city. Two hairy beasts' huge palm hit the city wall with a bang. Immediately, a crack appeared on the city wall. Seeing this, the pythons did not want to be outdone and shook their thick snake tails. Tut. They smashed onto the city wall, and the city wall shook. At this moment, the two hairy beasts clapped their hands again and again. In the blink of an eye, the sturdy city wall shattered into pieces like paper. According to the two hairy beasts and the other pythons, this was the result of them showing mercy. Chapter 858. The Storm Rises Again, 5. The guards on the city wall fell from high ground as the city wall fell. Leng Ruoxue and the others directly ignored these small fries, stepped on the ruins of the city wall, and walked in with large strides. After entering Luo City, Leng Ruoxue realized that the city was a little bleak. There were pitifully few pedestrians on the streets. Moreover, when they saw them, they all hid with fear in their eyes. Fengde, did you do something bad? Why do the people in this city look like they saw a ghost when they see us? Leng Ruoxue asked in puzzlement. Miss, we didn't do anything. We only dealt with a few people and conveniently went to the Bai and Zhao families' main residences to cause trouble. Anyway, the Bai and Zhao families are quite close to here, so we were just passing by. Fengde scratched his head and said somewhat embarrassedly. Oh. Leng Ruoxue nodded and didn't continue asking. However, she believed that it wouldn't be as simple as Fengde said. Master, the city lord residence of our Luo city is just around the corner in front. The old ancestor of the Luo clan said with 2 drops of cold sweat dripping down his forehead. He knew better than anyone how much of a slander Fengde's words were because he had seen it with his own eyes. Boo! It was really too violent. His heart was still trembling when he recalled it until now. Yes, That's also the Luo family's main residence. Leng Ruoxue said understandingly. Yes, Luo Xian said sadly. To the entire Luo clan, this matter was both a disaster and a great humiliation. Thus, revenge was necessary. Everyone chatted as they walked. Soon, they arrived at the city lord residence. At this moment, the city lord residence had already received news of their arrival, so they had long entered a highly alert state. Oh, looks like you're all ready. Leng Ruoxue looked at the Bai and Zhao families gathered at the entrance of the city lord residence and said with a light smile. Are you a helper from the Luo clan? A middle-aged man asked. No, Leng Ruoxue replied lightly. Leave Luo City immediately if you're not. I can't bear to hurt a beauty like you. The middle-aged man said wretchedly, his eyes revealing a perverted glint. Do it. Leng Ruoxue didn't want to waste time with them, so she ordered directly. Yes. Feng De and the others replied. After that, they swarmed forward and casually found an opponent to beat up. After they were done, they directly released their profound techniques to annihilate their opponent. Just like that, in less than half an hour, the Bai and Zhao families' allied forces disappeared from the boundless heaven continent without any strength to resist. Feng De and the others were still somewhat unsatisfied because, in their eyes, these two families were too ungovernable. The matter in Luo City was resolved so quickly that the Luo family couldn't help but be dumbfounded. They knew that their master's subordinates were very strong, but they didn't expect them to be so powerful. How could they bear this? If the Luo family had such strength, how could they still be bullied so badly? However, with a master like Leng Ruoxue, the Luo family believed that sooner or later, they would stand at the peak of the boundless heaven continent. However, they were also a little troubled now because master's subordinates were too formidable. This made them very uneasy in their hearts. Boo! What if master despised them? Thinking of this possibility, the Luo family was a little conflicted. I said I would give you 10 years. Leng Ruoxue couldn't help but remind them when she saw the depressed expressions on the Luo family's faces. That's right. The Luo family members immediately perked up when they heard Leng Ruoxue's words. They might not be able to help their master now, but they believed that they would definitely become his right-hand man one day, so they couldn't wallow in self-pity. They had to have enough confidence. Thinking of this, their mood immediately became high. Let's go. Well, get rid of the Bai and Zhao families completely and then go to Martial Immortal City. Leng Ruoxue instructed when she saw the Luo family's aura rise. Yes, the Luo family answered in unison, their spirits high. Let's go. Leng Ruoxue ordered. Then, everyone sat on the little peacock's back and flew straight to the Bai and Zhao families' main cities. After arriving at the main city of the Bai and Zhao families, Leng Ruoxue and the others didn't waste any energy at all to clean up the Bai and Zhao families. Then they went to Martial Immortal City. Martial Immortal City was similar to Luo City. The city gate was also heavily guarded. However, the guards guarding the city were also panicking when they saw them. Then, they abandoned the city gate and fled in a hurry. The Su family and the Qi family are really cowards. How dare they surround others with this little guts? I really don't know who borrowed their guts, Feng De said with a face full of disdain. Huh, that's right. Cheng Wu echoed. Little peacock, fly directly to the city lord residence. Leng Ruoxue instructed. They were not unfamiliar with the city lord residence of Martial Immortal City. After all, they had stayed there for a few days. Yes. The little peacock nodded and flew directly over the city wall towards the city lord residence. When they arrived at the city lord residence, they saw the door of the city lord residence open wide, but there was no one at the door. Leng Ruoxue and the others were puzzled when they saw the situation. Little peacock, fly in and take a look, Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. Yes. The little peacock flew directly into the city lord residence after receiving Leng Ruoxue's order. After patrolling around, it finally found a few Martial Immortal City guards in a corner. A few guards were curled up in a corner. When they saw Leng Ruoxue and the others, their bodies trembled like fallen leaves in the wind. Let me ask you, Where is the current city lord of the city lord residence? Leng Ruoxue asked speechlessly. Why did these guards look like they saw a ghost when they saw Feng Da and the others? Could it be that the guards at the city gate were all for outsiders to see? No. A guard said with a trembling voice, not daring to look up at all. Where did you go? Leng Ruoxue asked lightly. I don't know where I'm going, the guard stammered, his words a little unclear. Damn it, my young miss asked you a question, how dare you not answer honestly? Feng Da roared, scaring the guards into hugging each other. Should have returned to Su Cheng and Qi Cheng. Boo! You killing gods are too terrifying. They didn't dare to stay here anymore, so they ran away. The guard's eyes were filled with tears as he sobbed. Let's go! Leng Ruoxue was very helpless. She had already asked Qing Ju to search Martial Immortal City. There was indeed no trace of the Su and Qi families. It seemed like they had really been scared away by Feng Da and the others. She only knew today that her subordinates actually had such power. Killing God. The little peacock received Leng Ruoxue's order and looked at the trembling guards with disdain. It directly threw a mystic technique and flapped its wings to fly away. After flying for nearly a day, the little peacock brought Leng Ruoxue and the others to Qi City. It was night when they arrived in Qi City, so Leng Ruoxue ordered the little peacock to fly directly over the city wall. Well, it was a little late. It was time for them to rest after cleaning up the Qi family, so they naturally had to end the battle quickly and not waste time on entering the city. Miss, we've arrived at the Qi residence, the little peacock said after finding the Qi family's main residence according to Leng Ruoxue's instructions. Feng Da, you haven't been to the Qi family before, right? Leng Ruoxue raised her eyebrows and teased. Not yet. We were afraid that Miss would be anxious. Otherwise she would come, Feng Da said with slight regret. At this moment, the main entrance of the Qi residence was silent. However, looking down from the sky, the main residence was brightly lit and lively. The Qi family seems to be holding a banquet. Leng Ruoxue looked at the situation in the Qi family's main residence and said lightly, Miss, how do we get in? The little peacock asked curiously. It meant to knock or smash the door. Just fly in directly. Master is busy. Let's not disturb her and go in ourselves, Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. Okay, the little peacock said excitedly. It liked to enter uninvited. It felt more accomplished this way. With that, the little peacock flew directly over the Qi family's tall yard wall and landed in the main yard. Who is it? How dare you barge into the Qi family? The little peacock was discovered by the Qi family's guards as soon as it landed. Of course, it could not be ruled out as doing this on purpose. A troublemaker. Can't you tell? The little peacock blinked its big watery eyes and said innocently, How dare you? How dare you destroy the Qi family's territory? The guard said in disbelief. However, when he saw the Luo family's old ancestor sitting on the little peacock's back, his back turned cold, and a bad premonition surged in his heart. At this moment he already knew that the Luo family was here to take revenge. Chapter 859. Returning to the Leng family, 1. So what if it's the Qi family? Is the Qi family a tiger's den? Tell your patriarch that we're smashing the Qi family's territory. Feng Da glared and roared loudly. That's right. Hurry up and let your patriarch come out to die. Lin Yuan echoed. How dare you? Our patriarch is entertaining guests. Don't be impudent. At this moment, a man rushed out of the main hall. When he saw Leng Ruoxue and the others, he roared in disdain. Esteemed guest? Then please come out and die together. Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. She felt a few powerful auras in the main hall. They were probably helpers invited by the Qi family. It was just right to deal with them together. After all, in her eyes, whoever helped the enemy was her enemy. Don't regret it. The man threatened before turning around and returning to the main hall angrily. At this moment, a luxurious welcome banquet was being held in the main hall of the Qi family. The patriarch of the Qi family was sitting at the main table, his face full of charm. However, The strange thing was that he wasn't sitting in the main seat. Sitting on the main seat was a middle-aged man with a terrifying aura and a gloomy face. This man was around 40 to 50 years old, and his strength was unfathomable. On both sides of him sat two older men with strength and bearing that were slightly inferior to his. Other than that, the others sitting at the main table were all the elders of the Qi family. The Qi family's patriarch did his best to curry favor with the middle-aged man sitting in the chair. After a few glasses of yellow wine, the middle-aged man gradually smiled. "Patriarch Qi, don't worry. I'll put in a good word for your daughter. However, the young master is stubborn. Recently, he hasn't even been willing to listen to many of his elders, so..." The middle-aged man seemed to be in a dilemma. He stopped mid-sentence, his meaning self-evident. "Third butler, don't worry. I won't treat you badly. If this matter is completed, you will all be the great benefactors of our Qi family. As for the matter with the Luo family, please extend a helping hand and lend our Qi family a hand. This old man will be endlessly grateful." The Qi family's patriarch was very tactful. After hearing the middle-aged man's words, he gave his subordinate a look. The subordinates beside him immediately sent a storage ring seeing this. The Qi family's patriarch handed the ring to the middle-aged man. The man took it and used his divine sense to scan it. Then he nodded with slight satisfaction, the smile on his face widening. "Patriarch Qi, don't worry. I'll do my best regarding your daughter. As for the Luo family, you don't have to worry. The Luo family won't be able to overturn the sky with us around," the middle-aged man promised. He naturally had to be careful after obtaining such a huge benefit. However, he didn't expect the Qi family to be so generous. It seemed like they had paid a huge price this time. The man thought to himself, with the third butler, this old man can rest my heart in my stomach." The Qi family's patriarch was very good at currying favor. This flip of the conversation made the middle-aged man feel incomparably comfortable. However, his heart also ached a little because the blood loss this time was really not small. However, for the future of the family, he endured it. However, the host and guest didn't last long before the man who had just left Leng Ruoxue and the others with fierce words ran into the main hall and whispered a few words to the Qi family's patriarch. Immediately, the Qi family's patriarch's expression changed again and again. "Patriarch Qi, what happened?" the middle-aged man asked curiously. "Third butler, the remnants of the Luo family are here, and they even let us go out to die." The Qi family's patriarch's face was aggrieved, but he didn't dare to directly order these few people to help them teach the Luo family a lesson. Many people from the Qi family, who were sitting in the living room, had a drastic change in expression when they heard that the Luo family had come knocking on their door. This was because many of them had escaped death from Martial Immortal City and returned. The memories that Feng Da and the others had left them back then were still as deep as a nightmare. They could not forget them even if they wanted to. "Oh, the Luo family isn't a threat. The Qi family can rest easy with us around. There's no need to be afraid," the middle-aged man said confidently. Since he had accepted the Qi family's money, he naturally had to stand up for the Qi family. "Third butler is right. I wonder how the Luo family outside will be dealt with? I hope third butler can tell us," Patriarch Qi asked. "Leave it to us. Let's go out and take a look. Well, continue drinking after cleaning them up," the middle-aged man said. Then he was the first to stand up. After everyone stood up, he led everyone into the yard in large strides. In the yard, Leng Ruoxue and the freak were still sitting on the little peacock's back, while Feng Da and the others stood around the little peacock and surrounded them. The Qi family's patriarch and the others happened to see this scene when they came out of the living room. "Luo Xian, how dare you come knocking on our door to die?" The Qi family's patriarch roared as he saw Luo Xian standing in the courtyard. "Isn't this just right? We don't want you to search for us all over the world." "No, it should be to guard against us like we're thieves," Luo Xian said mockingly. "Luo Xian, even if you talk big, you won't be able to erase the fact that you're about to die," the Qi family's patriarch said proudly, as if he could already see the Luo family's demise. "These are also what I want to say to you," Luo Xian said calmly. "Why waste your breath on him? Just kill him." At this moment, the middle-aged man called Third Butler spoke impatiently. Where did the Chi family invite a dog? Why didn't they tie it up a little? Feng De said coldly, his eyes full of disdain. Who are you from the Luo family? State your name if you have the guts. The third butler was instantly angry when he heard himself being called a dog. His face and neck were red as he roared at the top of his lungs. Third butler, they shouldn't be from the Luo family, the Chi family's patriarch said hurriedly. Oh, so it's also a dog found by the Luo family. The third butler smiled when he heard this. Also? Does that mean this third butler admits to being a dog? Feng De said without anger, not taking the words of the person in front of him to heart. Brat, report your name if you have the guts. My subordinates are not nameless. The third butler suppressed his anger and said, Grandpa is Feng De, remember this name. Otherwise, you won't be able to say it when others ask you how you died when you go to hell, Feng De reminded kindly. Chapter 860, Returning to the Leng family, 2. Good. You Feng De, today I'll let you taste my power. The third butler roared and was about to attack, but he was stopped by Feng De. Wait. I don't kill nameless people either. Grandson, tell me your name. Feng De said with a chuckle. I'm the third housekeeper of the Leng family, Leng Qing. I'll make you a dead soul under my saber today. Leng Qing's eyes shot out a bloodthirsty light as he said fiercely. Ha! Then let's see who dies first. However, I'm a little curious. Does the Leng family know that you're backing the Qi family? Feng De asked curiously. Of course I know. Miss Qi is the future young madam of our Leng family. It's only right for our Leng family to stand up for the Qi family. Admit defeat if you know what's good for you. I might spare your life if I'm in a good mood. Leng Qing said as if he was showing mercy. Leng Qing, right? Are you sure this is the Leng family's idea? Isn't it your own fantasy? With Qi Honger's character, why would Leng Wudi fancy her? Don't you think your young master is a fool? Feng De said speechlessly. He had killed many members of the Leng family. Why didn't they notice these 3 butlers at that time? This fellow was also considered a wonder. How dare you? You actually dare to call our young master by his name. Leng Qing's breathing was a little hurried. It was obvious that he was greatly angered by Feng De. Leng Qing, don't mention your young master's name. Even if your patriarch stood in front of me, I would still call him by his name, Feng De said disapprovingly. Feng De, how dare you disrespect our patriarch and young master? I'll deal with you on behalf of the Leng family today. Leng Qing said with a face full of anger. Are you sure? Leng Qing. Leng Ruoxue suddenly asked with a light smile. Who are you? Come out if you have the guts. Don't hide yourself. Leng Qing heard a woman's voice, but he didn't see anyone. He couldn't help being a little angry. These people really didn't care about the Leng family. It was really ridiculous. Just as he finished speaking, a dazzling red light flew straight at his face. It was so fast that it caught him off guard, and it entered his mouth with a swish. In an instant, blood flowed out of the corner of his mouth. He was just about to open his mouth to speak when half a tongue fell out. Third butler. The Qi family was shocked and a little flustered when they saw this. How could this be? They didn't see when the other party attacked, but the third butler was injured. Leng Qing glared angrily and pointed in the direction of Feng De and the others. He was full of hatred, but he couldn't say a word. Third butler, I forgot to remind you. Be careful not to cause trouble with your mouth. Leng Ruoxue's calm voice drifted into the ears of the Qi family. Instantly, everyone's hearts turned cold. But, you? Leng Qing asked unclearly, the hatred in his eyes difficult to hide. I'm Leng Ruoxue, Leng Ruoxue said softly. With that, she jumped off the little peacock's back, and Feng De and the others consciously made way for her. Are you really Leng Ruoxue? A person beside Leng Qing asked with slight fear. Everyone in the Leng family knew Leng Ruoxue's great name. However, they happened to not be in the family when Leng Ruoxue was a guest in the Leng family at that time. However, they also heard about this demoness cold blood and ruthlessness afterward. therefore they also had lingering fears. It's true. Leng Ruoxue nodded. Leng Ruoxue, you are also from the Leng family. Why are you helping the Luo family? We are your family, the person said in disbelief. After hearing that person's words, the people from the Luo and Qi families couldn't help turning their gazes to Leng Ruoxue. The Luo family didn't expect their master to really be from the Leng family. They had always had guesses, but it was confirmed now. The Qi family didn't expect the Leng family to help the Luo family. They had spent so much money but were going to be destroyed in the hands of the other members of the Leng family in the end. How could they bear this? Ha! What a joke! Who's your family? When did I admit that I'm from the Leng family? Leng Ruoxue said speechlessly. Did some people in the Leng family inherit their self-righteousness? You unfilial descendant, how dare you disown your main family? The person immediately roared angrily when he heard that. He originally wanted to use the Leng family's name to make Leng Ruoxue retreat. But who knew that she didn't care at all, which couldn't help making him feel ashamed. Don't use that big hat on me. I don't care about the Leng family at all and won't acknowledge it, Leng Ruoxue said with a spurious smile. You, the Leng family led by Leng Qing glared at Leng Ruoxue angrily, so angry that they couldn't say anything. However, after hearing Leng Ruoxue's fierce name, they didn't dare to act rashly. After all, she even dared to kill the elders of the Leng family, let alone small characters like them. Boo! This demoness absolutely couldn't be provoked. Fengde attack. Leng Ruoxue ordered. Okay, brothers, be quick. After Fengde said that, he went directly to Leng Qing. Leng Qing, who was not mentally prepared and was frightened by Leng Ruoxue's name, was unable to retaliate at all. He was quickly dealt with by Fengde. The people from the Qi family and the Leng family were not in the mood to fight at all under the powerful attacks of Fengde and the others. They were frightened and ran everywhere. However, no matter how fast they were, their fate was destined. Fengde and the others attacked fiercely, and the opponents whose strength were not on the same level were quickly eliminated. After cleaning up the Qi family and the helpers they found, Fengde and the others quickly cleaned up the battlefield. After that, everyone left the Qi family. However, they didn't forget to set a fire before leaving. After resting for the night, Leng Ruoxue and the others headed straight to the last destination, the Su family's main city, the next morning. After arriving at the Su family's main city, Leng Ruoxue and the others didn't waste any time. They directly attacked and destroyed the Su family at lightning speed. Then they arranged for the Luo family. Following that, Leng Ruoxue led everyone to Proud Cold City where the Leng family was. Chapter 861, Returning to the Leng family, 3. Shuer, what are you thinking about? The freak looked at the thoughtful Shuer and asked curiously on the way to Proud Cold City. Freak, we didn't see Su Qian in the Su family, right? Leng Ruoxue asked calmly. Yes, that guy probably ran away long ago, the freak said disapprovingly. Su Qian could not cause much trouble, so he was not worried. I keep feeling that guy is a scourge, Leng Ruoxue said honestly. Shuer, don't think about it. Didn't you always say that we should deal with whatever comes our way? It's just Su Qian. Don't take it to heart. That guy won't be able to achieve anything, the freak comforted. Okay. Leng Ruoxue nodded and changed the topic. The two of them talked about something else. 3 days later, Leng Ruoxue and the others arrived at Proud Cold City. Leng Shuang was exceptionally happy to see Leng Ruoxue and arranged for them to stay in the Snowfall Garden. In the garden of the Snowfall Garden, Leng Shuang pulled Leng Ruoxue affectionately and kept asking questions. Then, she chatted with her about the Leng family's recent situation. Leng Qianye, who had rushed over, deliberately put on a straight face and walked into the Snowfall Garden. He sat down opposite Leng Ruoxue. The two of them looked at each other without saying anything. After some time, Little Shuer, are you here to see me? Leng Qianye couldn't help but ask when he saw that Leng Ruoxue ignored him after sitting down for a long time. No, Leng Ruoxue said honestly. Little Shuer, you're a bad person. To think that I've been thinking about you guys. Boo. I'm really too sad. Leng Qinya wiped his tears and said aggrievedly, "Are you here to see your sister, Sister Shuer?" Leng Shuang asked curiously. Not really." Leng Ruoxue shook her head. "Little Shuer, are you here to see my grandfather?" Leng Qinya guessed with jealousy. Even though he hadn't gotten Leng Ruoxue's answer, he was already jealous. "I'm not here to see the Leng family," Leng Ruoxue said helplessly. "If you're not here to see our Leng family, are you here to kill us?" Leng Qinya said half-jokingly. He even felt that little Shuer was getting better at keeping people in suspense. "That's right. I'm here to kill the Leng family," Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. "Ah." Leng Qinya and Leng Shuang were stunned for a moment before they reacted. "Sister Shuer, stop joking. Isn't Leng Xing's bloodline already dead? How would the Leng family dare to provoke you?" Leng Shuang chuckled. No one in the Leng family dared to provoke Leng Ruoxue now. So they were afraid of her. "Little Shuer, even though you don't like the Leng family, you have to have a good reason to kill them. After all, the Leng family has a bloodline connection with you." Leng Qinya reminded her helplessly. If little Shuer killed a few members of the Leng family for no reason, it would probably be difficult to explain to eldest grandpa. Of course, it would be different if there was enough reason. Ugh! Leng Shuang was speechless after hearing Leng Qinya's words. She thought to herself, "Your lineage is really protective of your children. It's fine as long as you have a reason to kill your own clansmen." So, I wonder who provoked Sister Shuer again. "Don't worry, every debt has its debtor. Although my motto has always been to eliminate the root of the problem, I won't do that on your account. I only kill those who deserve to die in the Leng family," Leng Ruoxue said very respectfully. "Sister Shuer, who do you want to kill?" Leng Shuang asked in confusion. The family head and elders had strictly ordered the clansmen to stay away from Leng Ruoxue and not take the initiative to provoke her. How could anyone anger Sister Shuer? She really didn't understand. "One called Leng Hua," Leng Ruoxue said softly. "Leng Hua? What did he do?" Leng Qinya asked in confusion. As far as he knew, Leng Hua had never left the clan. How did he provoke little Shuer? He got the Su family, the Qi family, the Bai family, and the Zhao family to besiege my servants. "Oh right, I forgot to tell you that I've already gotten rid of the third butler of the Leng family who worked for him," Leng Ruoxue said calmly. Leng Hua was the person behind the scenes who had read Leng Qing and the others' minds, so she naturally wouldn't let him off. "You mean the Luo family?" Leng Shuang was surprised. It was no secret in the vast Heaven continent that the Luo family had been annexed by the Su family and a few other families, so she had naturally heard about it. "Yes." Leng Ruoxue nodded. "Little Shuer, not many people know that the Luo family is your servant, right?" Leng Qinya asked thoughtfully. "Yes." Leng Ruoxue nodded. "In that case, how could Leng Hua know about this? Although that old fellow isn't too obedient, he rarely leaves the forbidden area all these years. If I don't know about this, there's even less reason for him to know." Leng Qinya's face was filled with questions. There's no such thing as an impenetrable wall in this world. How would Leng Hua know? Why would he attack the Luo family? "I'm afraid he can only ask himself," Leng Ruoxue said with a faint smile. To her, it didn't matter how Leng Hua knew or why he went against her. What was important was that he had to pay the price for daring to be her enemy. "Little Shuer, I really can't think of a reason for Leng Hua to do this. What can he gain from dealing with your servant?" Leng Qinya frowned. "I'm afraid he can only ask himself," Leng Ruoxue said lightly. "Yes, let's ask him together." Leng Qinya stood up and said, "No need, I can find him myself." Leng Ruoxue refused. Leng Qinya was the grand elder of the Leng family. Although she didn't recognize the Leng family, she had to consider his position. "All right then. However, I'm the only one who can bring you in," Leng Qinya said proudly. He knew how stubborn little Shuer was, so he didn't force her. In addition, he had to tell his grandfather about this early so that things wouldn't get out of hand. "Not necessarily. I can barge in," Leng Ruoxue said calmly when she saw the smug expression on Leng Qinya's face. Chapter 862, Returning to the Leng Family, 3. Little Shuer, if you barge in, you will become the public enemy of the Leng family. Leng Qianye said with a bitter smile. That makes sense. With such a useful trump card like you, it would be a waste not to use it. Forget it, I can't be bothered to waste time. Just bring us in. Leng Ruox's attitude changed very quickly. Little Shuer, has anyone ever said that you're bad? Leng Qianye's eyes sparkled as if he was about to cry. Boo! He could tell that little Shuer was clearly teasing him. If a woman isn't bad and a man doesn't love her, my man will love my badness, Leng Ruoxue said proudly. I love it when Shuer plays dirty tricks, the freak quickly agreed. Ah! Leng Qianye did not know what to say. He even felt that this freak had embarrassed all their men. However, he did not dare to say this out loud. Alright, I won't joke with you anymore. Quickly bring us to the forbidden area. Leng Ruoxue urged. After settling the Leng family's matter, she should be able to go to the Dark Night Seas. She would never let anyone who dared to cause trouble for her off. Leng Qianye nodded. Then, he brought Leng Ruoxue and the others to the forbidden area in the back mountain of the Leng family. After telling them where Leng Hua lived, he went straight to report this matter to his grandfather. Leng Ruoxue stood at the door of Leng Hua's room and thought to herself. The room in front of her was made of wood. She didn't know if it could withstand the burning of her intrinsic flame. She could test the temperature of her flame while she was at it. Thinking of this, Leng Ruoxue released a fire attribute mystic energy without hesitation. As soon as the fiery red mystic energy touched the wooden house, it immediately burned. At this moment, Leng Hua was sleeping in his room, completely unaware of the outside world. It was only when the smoke choked his nose that he was woken up. Leng Hua opened his eyes, but there was black smoke lingering in the room and he couldn't see anything at all. Moreover, his eyes were choking with smoke and tears. Suddenly, there was a loud thunk, and the flaming roof beam fell off, right into his lap. Leng cried out in pain and frustration. Damn it, how could his room be on fire? Had no one noticed? Leng Hua struggled to get up from the bed and took a healing pill. However, after taking the pill, the injury on his leg showed no signs of improving. This made him even more depressed. With no other choice, Leng Hua dragged his injured leg, fumbled, found the door, and broke out. As soon as Leng Hua left the room, the house collapsed. Miss, this old thing is quite lucky. He actually didn't die. Feng De looked at Leng Hua, who was in a sorry state and still had flames burning on his clothes, and couldn't help but gloat. Damn it, who are you? Did you set this fire? Leng Hua shouted at the sound of the stranger's voice. His eyes were thick with smoke, so he couldn't see very well. He could only judge by the sound, and the man's voice was unfamiliar to him. I'm Leng Ruoxue, Leng Ruoxue said with a faint smile. In fact, she didn't want to use fire to deal with Leng Hua at all. However, she had clearly overestimated this old fellow's awareness of danger. After all, if it were anyone else, they definitely wouldn't be in such a sorry state like him. Leng Ruoxue, you killed so many members of the Leng family, and you still dare to come back? Leng Hua immediately exploded when he heard Leng Ruoxue's name. In the Leng family now, Leng Ruoxue was probably the most famous. The members of the Leng family might not know their ancestors, but everyone knew Leng Ruoxue's name. Why wouldn't I dare to come back? I'm doing a good deed by getting rid of trash for your Leng family. By the way, you haven't even paid me for my labor. Leng Ruoxue said with a wicked smile. Leng Ruoxue, you still want labor fees? Leng Hua was furious. This Leng Ruoxue was really more shameless than he knew. Not only was she not hunted down by the Leng family after killing a member of the Leng family, but she even dared to enter the house and ask for labor fees. She was really too much. Why not? But don't worry, I'll include your share, Leng Ruoxue said angrily. What do you mean? Leng Hua was shocked and forced himself to be calm. Don't you know what I mean? Then you at least know what you've done, right? Leng Ruoxue said with a faint smile. I don't understand what you're talking about. I've been cultivating in the forbidden area. Leng Hua pretended to be confused. Leng Hua, I thought you were also a big shot. At least you dared to take responsibility. Unfortunately, you're a coward and a coward. A person like you will only waste food and embarrass your ancestors if you live. Why don't you let me send you on your way? Leng Ruoxue said with slight disdain. Then, she released a cluster of flames from her fingertips and gently slashed in Leng Hua's direction like a meteor. Chapter 863, Duel in the Arena, 1. The fiery meteor was extremely fast, but just as it was about to hit Leng Hua, it collided with a white light and fell to the ground. Who dares to cause trouble in the Leng family? When the two mystic energies collided, a questioning voice sounded at the same time. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Several figures appeared in the void one after another. Leng Ruoxue looked at the figure that suddenly appeared in front of them and a faint smile appeared on her lips. This Leng family was really slow. Leng Hua, what's wrong? Another surprised voice sounded. Oh, so it's the house on fire, the man muttered to himself, not caring if anyone responded. What are you doing here? Leng Hua gritted his teeth when he saw the man appear. His face, which was grayish-black from the smoke, darkened even more. I heard that something happened to you, so I specially came to express my condolences. The person gloated. There's no need. Leng said, suppressing his anger. Don't be like that. We're all of the same race. We're supposed to take care of each other, the man said with a smile. Take care my ass. She was clearly here to laugh at him. Leng Hua couldn't help but curse in his heart, and his expression became even uglier. Little girl, who are you? At this moment, the person turned to Leng Ruoxue and asked curiously. I'm Leng Ruoxue. Leng Ruoxue introduced herself. You're Leng Ruoxue. I've heard a lot about you. The person's face was filled with admiration, and countless stars appeared in his eyes. Leng Ruoxue, give me an autograph. Suddenly, the person lifted a corner of his shirt and took out a pen. He handed it to Leng Ruoxue and said expectantly. Leng Ruoxue raised her eyebrows slightly and looked at the kind-looking old man in front of her. She couldn't help but wonder if this old man was really so out of line or if his reaction was slow. However, according to her guess, the possibility of him doing it on purpose was very high. Don't worship me, I'm just a legend. Leng Ruoxue said calmly, looking as arrogant as she could. I have to worship you. The old man smiled and thought to himself, there aren't many people who dare to kill members of the Leng family in the Leng family. How can I not worship you? Leng you. Damn it, she came to kill me, and you actually asked her to give you her autograph. Leng Hua saw the man's actions and was so angry that he couldn't help but shout. Leng Yu always liked to go against him. It really angered him. What have you done to deserve this? Leng Yu was curious. You, Leng Hua's breathing quickened at Leng Yu's words. He was clearly furious. Leng Hua, calm down. You can't die. Otherwise, you'll feel uneasy. Leng Yu quickly comforted her. How dare you kill people in our Leng family's forbidden area? At this moment, someone who was closer to Leng Hua said. I only kill those who deserve to be killed, Leng Ruoxue said calmly, her beautiful eyes turning to the old men protecting Leng Hua in the middle. These old men must have a good relationship with Leng Hua because one of them had knocked away her mystic energy just now. Among the dozens of old men present, they were the closest to Leng Hua. Actually, Leng Hua did not have a good relationship with the Leng family. However, no matter how unlikable he was, he would still have a few like-minded friends. Therefore, those who were willing to protect him at this time were really the ones who were closest to him in the Leng family. As for the others, even if they came, they were just here to watch the show, just like Leng Yu. You sure talk big, girl, said another. Let's talk nicely. Don't bully the younger generation. Leng Ruoxue didn't speak, but Leng Yu tried to smooth things over. Leng Yu, do you have bad eyesight? I'm the one who was bullied. Leng Hua was so angry that he was about to vomit blood. It was fine if Leng Yu did not help him, but in this situation, he was actually siding with an outsider. It was really outrageous. I'm just afraid that others will say that there are so many of us bullying a little child. Leng Yu said aggrievedly, tears still flickering in his eyes. Shut up. The more Leng Hua listened, the angrier he became. It was obvious that the other party had more people. You said it. Leng Yu was really obedient. He really stopped talking after telling her to shut up. The atmosphere suddenly became oppressive. I came here today to kill Leng Hua. Whoever wants to help him is my enemy. Don't waste time and attack together. Seeing that no one was speaking, Leng Ruoxue looked around at everyone and said bluntly. After hearing Leng Ruoxue's words, everyone present had different thoughts. Some admired her courage, but most of them felt that she was too arrogant. Little girl, I'll teach you a lesson on behalf of your ancestors today, lest you don't know your place. The first person to speak up for Leng Hua said angrily. Old man, haven't you heard that the bird that sticks out gets shot? Leng Hua isn't even going to attack, but you're going to stand up for him. Leng Ruoxue chuckled, hinting that Leng Hua was a coward. Leng Ruoxue, can't you see that I'm injured? Leng Hua couldn't help but defend. As a mystic supremacy, what are those injuries? However, even if someone stands up for you, you're dead today, Leng Ruoxue said disdainfully. Miss, leave this old turtle to me. Cheng Wu said. Okay. Leng Ruoxue nodded. Old turtle, die. Cheng Wu gathered his mystic energy and attacked Leng Hua with a light blue mystic technique. Leng Hua dodged quickly. However, because he was injured and could not move his legs, he was still hit by Cheng Wu's mystic technique. Leng Hua. The person surrounding Leng Hua quickly shielded him and faced Cheng Wu. However, Cheng Wu did not continue fighting with him because his opponent was Leng Hua. Therefore, he specially found an opportunity to attack Leng Hua. Light blue and green mystic techniques were released from his palms continuously. Not long after, Leng Hua was injured even more. It was a tragic sight. The few old men who were helping Leng Hua were quickly pestered by Feng De and the others. They could not spare any time to help Leng Hua. Chapter 864, Duel in the Arena, 2. Leng Ruoxue observed the situation on the field. Her beautiful eyes still had to pay attention to those old men from the Leng family who were watching the show to prevent them from launching a sneak attack. Little girl, don't stare at us. We're all pacifists. We want attack. Leng Yu, who was uncomfortable under Leng Ruoxue's gaze, couldn't help but say. Boo. He wanted to keep quiet, but this little girl's gaze made him feel so uncomfortable. I don't believe you, Leng Ruoxue said with a faint smile. She wanted to kill an ancestor-level figure of the Leng family. This was a forbidden area of the Leng family, so she naturally wouldn't believe these ancient words. After all, she was an outsider to these old men. Leng Yu was depressed. Was he that untrustworthy? Even though this little girl wanted to kill Leng Hua, they really didn't dare to attack her. Not to mention whether they could defeat her. If they really attacked this little girl, Leng Qianye would probably be the first to not let them off. Moreover, their relationship with Leng Qianye was much better than with Leng Hua. How could they find trouble with themselves? Stop! At this moment, an imposing roar entered everyone's ears. Then, a few more figures appeared in the void. Leng Yu and the others were shocked when they heard this roar. They thought to themselves, the ancestors are here. Leng Hua's life is probably saved. However, Leng Ruoxue and the others did not react to this voice. As for Cheng Wu and the others in the battle, they did not take it seriously. In their hearts, unless their miss ordered them to stop, no one else could command them. Damn it! The ancestors told you to stop. Leng Hua dodged Cheng Wu's attack in an extremely sorry state and found a gap to shout. The ancestors had already asked him to stop, but not only did this barbaric fellow not stop, but he even became more and more enthusiastic. He was really furious. That's your ancestor, not mine, Cheng Wu said disapprovingly, throwing the mystic technique in his hand at Leng Hua like water. Suddenly, the wind and clouds changed. A terrifying mystic energy hit Cheng Wu, and Leng Hua took the opportunity to launch a sneak attack and knock Cheng Wu to the ground. Everything happened so quickly that Leng Ruoxue and the others had no time to react. When Leng Ruoxue and the others reacted, Cheng Wu had already fallen to the ground and was injured. Cheng Wu! Leng Ruoxue quickly ran to Cheng Wu's side, helped him up, and took out a pill to feed Cheng Wu. Miss, I'm fine. Cheng Wu wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and looked at Leng Hua coldly. Ancestor, please help me. Leng Hua felt Cheng Wu's gaze and his heart trembled. He quickly sought protection from the ancestor. Leng Xiaoqing looked at Leng Hua and then at the injured Cheng Wu, feeling a little apologetic. After all, he had only attacked just now to make them stop. He did not want to hurt anyone, but Leng Hua had ruined things. Young man, are you all right? Leng Xiaoqing asked with concern. With my lady here, you won't die, Cheng Wu said coldly, his knife-like gaze glaring at Leng Hua. Young man, it's not good to be too angry. Leng Xiaoqing reminded him. She was also a little angry. After all, she felt that she had already lowered herself, but the young man in front of her still had such an attitude. This made her feel a little embarrassed. Who are you? Leng Ruoxue narrowed her eyes and asked calmly. However, seeing him standing with that cheap ancestor, she already knew. Little girl, you should call me old ancestor, Leng Xiaoqing said patiently. For the sake of her younger brother, she knew that she couldn't argue with this girl. However, she couldn't let her kill another member of the Leng family. You're Leng Hua's ancestor, not mine, Leng Ruoxue said lightly. Whoever dared to hurt her was her enemy. The little girl has a temper. She's even angry with me, Leng Xiaoqing teased as she glanced at her younger brother. Do you want to stop me from killing Leng Hua? Leng Ruoxue asked bluntly. Little girl, you've already killed many members of the Leng family. You can't kill anymore. We're all family. I'll make the decision now and help you mediate, okay? Leng Xiaoqing asked kindly. Not good, Leng Hua must die. I won't let go of anyone who helps Leng Hua, Leng Ruoxue said without giving him face. Second brother, this little girl's temper is exactly the same as yours. Tell me what to do now. Leng Xiaoqing kicked the ball into Leng Xiaoyu's hand and said. Leng Xiaoyu looked at the stubborn Leng Ruoxue and then glanced at Leng Hua. He was in a difficult position. He knew that if this matter was not handled well, the only relationship he had with this little girl would be damaged. This girl's personality was too strong and she was protective. This matter would probably not be easy to clean up. However, it was really not worth it to ruin his friendship with this little girl for Leng Hua. Moreover, this matter was caused by Leng Hua in the first place. Even if he was really killed by little Shuer, he deserved it. The biggest problem now was Big Brother's position. Even though Big Brother said that he would not pursue the matter last time, he knew that Big Brother still minded it a little. This time, Big Brother would probably not give in easily regarding Leng Hua's matter. After all, this concerned Big Brother's absolute authority in the Leng family. Big Brother, Leng Hua is your descendant and Leng Ruoxue is mine. We can't judge who's right and who's wrong. Why don't? Leng Xiaoyu said implicitly and only finished half of her sentence. You mean to let third brother decide? Leng Xiaoqing raised her eyebrows slightly. What I mean is, let them decide on the arena. Life and death are up to fate, Leng Xiaoyu said calmly. Second brother, your descendant even killed the Sun family. If you propose to let them decide on the arena, I'm afraid this will be unfair to Leng Hua, right? Leng Xiaoqing said indifferently. Big brother, the rings are all one-on-one. Their strength is about the same. It's very fair, Leng Xiaoyu said, but he couldn't help but feel uneasy. Leng Hua deserved to die in the first place. He had suggested the ring to decide life and death because he wanted to save Big Brother's face. Who knew that Big Brother actually didn't appreciate it? All right, let them decide in the arena. Leng Xiaoqing had no choice but to agree. Chapter 865, Duel in the Arena, 3. Little girl, you and Leng Hua will decide life and death in the arena. Leng Xiaoqing turned to Leng Ruoxue and said, Ancestor, this is unfair to me. I was injured. Leng Hua protested before Leng Ruoxue could speak. Shut up. Leng Xiaoqing roared angrily. It seems that Leng Hua doesn't agree. Coincidentally, I don't agree either. Leng Ruoxue chuckled. She could have killed Leng Hua now, so why did she have to wait until the arena? Little girl, I've already said that you can't kill anyone from the Leng family unless it's in the life and death ring. Leng Xiaoqing reminded her. Alright. However, I request these old things to go to the arena too. Leng Ruoxue pointed at the old men who had helped Leng Hua just now. When Cheng Wu was injured, everyone's battle was interrupted. Now, Feng Da and the others were holding in their anger. If they didn't let them release it, they would suffocate. Alright, there are exactly 5 of them. Send 5 of them to accept the challenge. Leng Xiaoyu said decisively. Does life and death matter in an arena battle? Leng Ruoxue asked uncertainly. Of course. In the arena, life and death are up to fate. Leng Xiaoyu nodded. He was still very confident in the strength of Little Shuer and the others. Otherwise, he wouldn't have suggested such a method. After all, the two sides who had conflicts with each other would decide life and death in the arena. Even if Leng Hua and the others died, at least his big brother wouldn't say anything. This was also well known in the Leng family. Alright, I don't want to waste time. Let's start now. Leng Ruoxue said without hesitation. Go to the martial arts arena, Leng Xiaoqing ordered. It was no longer important who was right or wrong because he knew that the girl would never let Leng Hua off. However, this method would at least make him look better. Ancestor. Leng Hua begged, clearly not wanting to fight in the arena. Leng Yu, take him away. No one in the Leng family can back down. Leng Xiaoqing glared at Leng Yu and instructed. Yes, Ancestor. Leng Yu and the others looked at Leng Hua sympathetically before escorting the unwilling Leng Hua to the martial arts arena. A moment later, Leng Ruoxue and the others arrived at the Leng family's martial arts arena under Leng Xiaoqing's lead. Not long after, when Sun arrived. Little girl, choose 5 of your subordinates to fight. Leng Xiaoqing looked at Leng Ruoxue and said, Okay. Leng Ruoxue nodded. Miss, Leng Hua and I haven't won yet. Cheng Wu reminded her. Miss, we don't either, Feng Da and the others hurriedly said. Monster, Cheng Wu, Feng Da, and Song Di, the 5 of us will go to the arena. The others will watch the battle, Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. Leng Chenye had sent her a voice transmission just now and told her about the strength of those old men. That was why she made such an arrangement. After all, this was a life and death battle. Those old men might go all out. Okay. They nodded. In the first round of the arena battle, the freak was the first to appear. His opponent was called Leng Quan. According to Leng Chenye, he was the strongest among the 5 of them. After Leng Ruoxue whispered a few words to the freak, he strode into the arena. Kid, if you admit defeat, I won't kill you. Otherwise, if your beautiful face is ruined, no woman will like you in the future. In the arena, Leng Quan reminded him kindly. Old man, you're mistaken. I'm a capable person, not like you who needs to rely on your looks. The freak chuckled, clearly implying that Leng Quan was a gigolo. As soon as the freak finished speaking, Feng Da and the others could not help but burst into laughter. Even though the Leng family members who came to watch the battle did not dare to laugh as exaggeratedly as Feng Da and the others, they all lowered their heads and chuckled. Kid, you have to rely on your strength to speak in the arena. Just talking won't save you. Leng Quan said angrily. Old man, I rely on my strength. Take this. Before the freak finished speaking, several strands of black profound energy had already been released from his hand. The black mystic energy released by the freak danced in the air like lightning. Moreover, it was extremely fast. Before Leng Quan could react, it had already wrapped around his body. Immediately after, the freak's body shot out like a meteor. In an instant, everyone below the stage saw countless shadows dancing in front of their eyes. The afterimages connected and drew beautiful arcs. In just a few minutes, the cold spring in the arena was badly mutilated. The cries of pain in the arena and the cries of surprise below the stage joined together. After a loud bang, Leng Quan fell flat on the stage, lifeless. It had only been a few minutes, but Leng Quan had died without being able to fight back at all. This could not help but make everyone's jaws drop. At the same time, The image of a monster's violence was even more deeply rooted in their hearts. Immediately after, Feng De went on stage. However, after his opponent witnessed the violence of the freak, he was afraid before the battle even began. Therefore, Feng De took care of his opponent effortlessly. Then he walked down the arena in high spirits. The third person to go on stage was Song Di. He also quickly finished off his opponent. Then it was Cheng Wu's turn. Cheng Wu sneered and looked at Leng Hua, who was standing opposite him, with disdain. Leng Hua, you ambushed me just now. Now I want to pay you back double. After Cheng Wu finished speaking, he directly attacked. Leng Hua limped frantically on the arena and dodged Cheng Wu's attacks. Unfortunately, he could not dodge them at all. Leng Hua, are you still a member of the Leng family? You've embarrassed the Leng family. Cheng Wu roared in disappointment, and his words voiced the thoughts of many members of the Leng family. I don't want to die. Leng Hua said weakly. You realized it too late. Cheng Wu rushed to Leng Hua's side and picked him up like a chicken. Then he beat him up. After getting tired of beating him up, a fatal mystic technique directly blasted onto Leng Hua's body, ending his life. Chapter 866, Duel in the Arena, 4. After the battle ended, Cheng Wu jumped off the arena and sat back beside Leng Ruoxue and the others. Leng Ruoxue was the last to appear. She first looked around at the Leng family members in the arena and took in their expressions. Then she walked briskly to the arena. After a long wait, her opponent dawdled into the ring. Leng Ruoxue, can I admit defeat? Leng Ruoxue's opponent said. The few people before him were all dead, so he was a little afraid. Admit defeat? Old man, I've already said that whoever helps Leng Hua is my enemy. It originally had nothing to do with you, but you insisted on standing up for him. In that case, fight bravely. Don't make me look down on you. Leng Ruoxue said mockingly. She had long reminded him that the bird that sticks out gets shot. Now that he had stood up, he wanted to shrink back. How could there be such a good thing? That's right, old man. This is an arena duel proposed by your ancestor. Do you think it's a fight between children? Feng De echoed loudly. Old ancestor. That person looked at Leng Xiaoqing for help. Let's start quickly. Leng Xiaoqing said without any emotion. She really didn't expect her descendants to be so disappointing. Even if they couldn't win, they should at least die with some backbone. Now, not only did the arena battle not save her face, but it also made her look even worse. She felt so stifled in her heart. Did you hear what your old ancestor say? Take this. Leng Ruoxue chuckled. The mystic technique in her hand condensed into a dazzling fire dragon that entangled her opponent. However, she had clearly overestimated her opponent's strength. She originally thought that her opponent could last for a while, but she did not expect her opponent to be evaporated by her fire dragon in just a few seconds. This made her feel a sense of accomplishment. When did mystic supremacy become so weak? In fact, it was not that Xian Zun had become weaker, but that she had become stronger. Ever since her heaven-defying skill advanced, her intrinsic flame had also evolved. Therefore, no matter how hard the mystic supremacy's body was, it could not withstand the high temperature of her flames. In just a few breaths, Leng Ruoxue had eliminated her opponent. This made the Leng family members watching the battle tremble in fear. Damn! This little demon seemed to have become stronger. One had to know that the opponent was a mystic supremacy. He evaporated in the blink of an eye. How could they not be afraid? Second brother, your descendant is not bad. Leng Xiaoqing stood up and left. Second brother, I'm afraid big brother is angry. Leng Xiaoxiao looked at his big brother's back and said, After this incident, the three of them probably wouldn't be able to be as carefree as before. That can't be avoided, Leng Xiaoyu said expressionlessly. He couldn't let little Shuer suffer. Besides, little Shuer wouldn't listen to him. With that, Leng Xiaoyu glanced at Leng Ruoxue, who was walking down from the arena, and left the martial arts arena. Leng Ruoxue and the others left the arena and returned to the Snowfall Garden. It wasn't long before Leng Shuang arrived. Elder sister, are you here to chase us out of the Leng family? Leng Ruoxue teased with a smile. Sister, why would I do that? However, the Leng family is so afraid of you. Leng Shuang said helplessly. Sister, if people don't offend me, I won't offend them. If people offend me, I'll repay them 1,000 times over, Leng Ruoxue said calmly. I'll warn the clan, Leng Shuang promised. That's good. Sister, since the matter with Leng Hua has been resolved, we'll take our leave, Leng Ruoxue said bluntly. Sister, since you're here, why don't you stay a few more days? Leng asked reluctantly. Elder sister, I'm the most unpopular person in the Leng family now. I know my limits, so it's better to leave as soon as possible, Leng Ruoxue said jokingly. Sister, since you've made up your mind, I won't stop you. Take care, Leng said helplessly. Okay, elder sister, take care too. Leng Ruoxue said and left Proud Cold City with everyone. Miss, are we going to the Dark Night Seas now? Lu Tao asked expectantly after leaving Proud Cold City. Yes. Leng Ruoxue nodded. Then, she summoned the little peacock and carried everyone to the Dark Night Seas. More than half a month later, after a long journey, Leng Ruoxue and the others finally arrived at the vast plain. Girl, this should be the entrance to the Dark Night Seas. After checking the map, the little old man pointed at a narrow path. The trail led into the depths of the vast plain and stretched as far as the eye could see. Furthermore, as far as the eye could see, there was nothing but gray mist. However, there was no poison in this mist. Okay, let's go in. Everyone, be careful and don't be too far away, Leng Ruoxue reminded. Then, she took out the elementary detoxification pill worriedly and let everyone eat one to take precautions. Yes, everyone nodded. After which, Leng Ruoxue and the others walked into the legendary Dark Night Seas that was extremely dangerous and mysterious. Chapter 867, Dark Night Seas, 1. The Dark Night Seas was the most mysterious and dangerous place on the boundless heaven continent. After walking along the misty path, they saw a blood sun hanging high in the sky above the Dark Night Seas. The entire Dark Night Seas was black, but the spiritual energy inside was very abundant. The vegetation was lush, which showed that this place was extremely suitable for the growth of plants. It's still daylight outside, miss, but it's dark in here. It's so strange, said Leto, looking puzzled at the dark night sky. This place doesn't differentiate between day and night. It's like this all year round. Moreover, even though this place is called the Dark Night Seas, it's not the sea. It's made up of mountains and forests. Leng Ruoxue chuckled. Then, she bent down to pick up a herb and put it into her bracelet. Miss, there are herbs there too. Lu Tao saw that there were herbs growing under a tree vine and quickly ran over. She was about to pick them when Leng Ruoxue stopped her. Be careful, Leng Ruoxue warned. Then, a fiery red mystic energy was released from her fingertips. Lu Tao was shocked, but then she saw that the vines behind her were burned to ashes. The parts that had not been burned were trembling and even letting out cries. Miss, what is this? Lu Tao covered her chest with her hand and said in shock. It was really terrifying. The tree vines were actually bleeding red juice. That's a blood-sucking vine. It's best at disguise and likes to suck blood. It's also a low-level plant-type beast. However, its intelligence isn't high and it only acts on instinct, Leng Ruoxue explained. Don't act alone here. Don't be too far away from each other in case you don't have time to take care of each other. Be careful when collecting herbs and minerals, Leng Ruoxue added. Yes, said Lu Tao and the others quickly. After that, Leng Ruoxue and the others continued deeper. The deeper they went, the more varieties of herbs there were. Moreover, they found many ores, some of which were relatively precious. The little old man was overjoyed and kept shouting that he had not come in vain. Everyone, set up camp here today. Leng Ruoxue instructed after walking for a while and arriving at a relatively flat area. Yes, Feng De and the others replied. Then they quickly set up the tent. After setting up the tent, they started cooking again. They had just finished preparing the food when an uninvited guest arrived. How fragrant! Suddenly, a deep male voice sounded in everyone's ears. Leng Ruoxue and the others looked up warily at the young man who suddenly appeared in front of them. No one spoke first. Sorry, I was rude. The young man smiled in embarrassment and sat down beside Leng Ruoxue and the others. Who are you? Leng Ruoxue asked softly, her beautiful eyes constantly sizing up the man in front of her. The man in front of her was in his 20s. He was handsome and his clothes were a little messy. He looked weak and seemed to have no strength. However, Leng Ruoxue knew that this man was definitely not what he looked like. He was probably in some kind of disguise. However, looking at this man's clothes, he did not look like someone from the boundless heaven continent. Imran Xian. I got separated from my family. Can I accompany you? I can pay, the man said in embarrassment. Rin. Leng Ruoxue recalled carefully, but she could not remember the Ren family on the boundless heaven continent. That's right. Our Ren family is the #1 family in the Cloud Wind continent, so if I travel with you, I will definitely treat you well. Ren Xian said very sincerely. Cloud Wind continent? Leng Ruoxue and the others looked at each other when they heard this name. They were even more surprised, but no one showed it. Why did you get separated from your family? Leng Ruoxue temporarily put down the doubts in her heart and pretended to be curious. After all, she knew that there was more than one continent in this world, but she didn't expect to meet someone from another continent in the Dark Night Seas. I'm ashamed to say this, but actually, I was framed by my family and deliberately dumped by them, Ren Xian said with some shame. Right now, our Ren family is at a critical moment in choosing our young master. If there's one less person, there will be one less person to compete with. Therefore, I was deliberately abandoned by them. Ren Xian added. What's your strength? Leng Ruoxue asked bluntly. She knew that this man must have hidden his strength. Otherwise, how could a person who had been dumped by his family members only have slightly wrinkled clothes but survive in the Dark Night Seas unscathed? After all, this place was filled with danger. A mystic supremacy. However, there are many mystic monarch among the Ren family members who came to the Dark Night Seas this time, and am also here as an elite of the family with the strength of a mystic monarch. Therefore, you have to keep it a secret for me. Ren Xian blinked and said with a light smile. In fact, he was not interested in the young master. However, some people in the family did not believe him and even used such a clumsy method to scheme against him. So, he really had nothing to say. Don't worry, we're not talkative people. Since you're behind, you can go with us for the time being, Leng Ruoxue said kindly. Thank you. It's dangerous here. It's really dangerous to be alone. Ren Xian heaved a sigh of relief. You haven't eaten anything yet. Leng Ruoxue handed over a piece of roasted meat. Yes, thank you, Ren Xian said a little embarrassedly. Then he started eating in big mouthfuls. Compared to these people in front of him, he seemed to be in a sorry state. Feng De Qingwu, you two keep watch today. Leng Ruoxue instructed after dinner. They'll keep watch tonight. Ren Xian volunteered. No need, you should rest well. Leng Ruoxue said considerately. In fact, she was not at ease letting a stranger keep watch. Even though she had just let Qingju read Ren Xian's mind and knew that what this man said to them was true, she still could not trust a stranger. Chapter 868, Dark Night Seas, 1. Then I won't stand on ceremony, Ren Xian said with a smile. Then he set up a tent and went in. After Leng Ruoxue and the freak entered the tent, they entered the bracelet directly. In the purple bamboo house. The freak hugged Shuer tightly and asked jealously, Shuer, why are we bringing strangers? I'm curious. Don't you find it strange? We actually met someone from another continent here. Leng Ruoxue raised her eyebrows and said lightly. She knew that this jealous lover was letting her imagination run wild again. Oh, then why don't we let him keep watch? We have to let him do some work. The freak pouted, slightly disgruntled. To put it bluntly, he was jealous. Don't worry, we'll let a stranger keep watch for us. Leng Ruoxue asked. Of course I'm worried, Freak said honestly. That's it. Go to sleep. I've already asked Qingju to monitor the area within 100 miles. Leng Ruoxue coaxed. Yes, Freak agreed, and they fell asleep in each other's arms. The next morning, when Leng Ruoxue and the Freak left the tent, they saw that everyone had already started cooking breakfast, and Ren Xian was actually helping. Good morning. Ren Xian greeted them warmly when he saw them. Good morning, Leng Ruoxue replied politely, then pulled the Freak over to help. After Leng Ruoxue and the others finished breakfast, they set off. Ren Xian, have you met anyone else in the Dark Night Seas? Leng Ruoxue chatted with Ren Xian as they walked. Other than our Ren family, you're the only ones I've met. Ren Xian replied. The Dark Night Seas is very big. It's very difficult to meet someone here, Ren Xian added. Why did your family choose the Dark Night Seas as a place to train? Isn't this place very dangerous? Leng Ruoxue asked in confusion. It's very dangerous, but those who can survive the danger are definitely promising talents for the family. Moreover, the family has many descendants and has always chosen the best among the best. Therefore, it's normal to eliminate some inferior products. I'm a defective product that's going to be eliminated. Ren Xian said self-deprecatingly. Are you sure you're defective? Leng Ruoxue blinked and asked calmly. That's right. I've been weak and sickly since I was young. I don't know how I cultivated to the mystic supremacy realm, Ren Xian said with a puzzled expression. Oh. Leng Ruoxue was speechless. If she didn't know that Ren Xian was telling the truth, she would really suspect that Ren Xian was showing off. However, every family had its own difficulties. Ren Xian didn't seem to be in a good situation in the family. Will the other families on the Cloudwind continent also come here to train? Leng Ruoxue changed the topic. Other than superfamilies like the Ren family, there aren't many who dare to come to the Netherworld Sea to train. However, all the descendants of the families who know that they are coming to the Dark Night Seas to train are prepared to die. Ren Xian replied. As long as they can return alive, they will be put in an important position? Leng Ruoxue said with some understanding. More or less. The young master of the family will basically choose from the surviving descendants. Ren Xian nodded. I don't care if it's young master or not. I just want to return alive, Ren Xian said. You'll go back alive, Leng Ruoxue said with certainty. I hope so. However, I have to stay here for 3 months. Sighed. Ren Xian sighed and said helplessly. 3 months? Leng Ruoxue was puzzled. This is the rule of the Dark Night Seas. As long as you enter here, you have to stay here for 3 months. Otherwise, you won't be able to find the way out. Ren Xian explained. Don't tell me you don't know? Ren Xian couldn't help but ask when he saw the confusion on Leng Ruoxue and the others' faces. We really don't know. Leng Ruoxue and the others looked at each other with helplessness on their faces. Sighed. How could there be such a rule in the Dark Night Seas? They were all rookies who came for the first time and had never heard of this. The Dark Night Seas is very mysterious. No one knows what they will encounter inside. Anyone who has come here and left alive was already 3 months later when they left. However, ordinary big families should know about such rapid breathing. Didn't anyone tell you? Ren Xian said in disbelief. Any big family would tell their descendants some precautions when they came to the Dark Night Seas to train. Therefore, it was difficult for him to imagine that Leng Ruoxue and the others didn't know about these things. We don't have a family clan, Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. I see. Ren Xian understood. However, he admired Leng Ruoxue and the others for coming here without knowing anything. We know it's dangerous here, but danger is often accompanied by opportunity. Apart from courage, luck is also important. We came here to try our luck, Leng Ruoxue explained lightly. Yes, that makes sense. It's precisely because this place is very dangerous that the opportunities are greater. I saw that you guys have collected a lot of herbs and minerals along the way. Could it be that there are alchemists and artifact masters among you? Ren Xian guessed curiously. Yes. Leng Ruoxue nodded. When I was alone, I found a place with a lot of herbs. Let me bring you there. Ren Xian said excitedly. With an alchemist, it would be much easier to live in the dark night seas for 3 months. His luck was really good. Okay. Leng Ruoxue nodded. Follow me. With that, Ren Xian led the way. Not long after, he brought Leng Ruoxue and the others to a small mountain half the height of a person. Even though the hill was not tall, the top and bottom of the hill were filled with herbs. Even though there were not many precious herbs, they still needed ordinary herbs very much. Wow, there are so many herbs here. Jing En's eyes lit up. As an alchemist, he naturally loved herbs the most. After saying that, Jing En ran straight to the small mountain and quickly gathered the herbs with both hands. Chapter 869, Dark Night Seas 3, Everyone attack together. Leng Ruoxue ordered, and Feng De and the others started moving. At the side, Ren Xian looked at their well-trained movements and could not help but click his tongue. These people were really fast. About 2 hours later, they finally finished gathering the herbs on the mountain and at the foot of the mountain. I've really gained a lot from this trip. Ren Xian, thank you. This is a pill I refined myself. I'll give it to you as a thank you. Zheng Yan took out a white jade porcelain bottle and handed it to Ren Xian. It could be seen that he was really happy, and the corners of his mouth were constantly curled up. No, thank you. Then I won't stand on ceremony. Ren Xian wanted to say that there was no need, but when he opened the porcelain bottle and saw the medicinal pill inside, he couldn't refuse. This was because it actually contained a heaven-grade pill, the Spirit Convergence pill. Even though the Spirit Convergence pill only had the effect of replenishing spiritual energy and might not be of much use usually, it was very useful at critical moments. Moreover, this was a heaven-level medicinal pill. It was definitely priceless. However, he was more interested in the person who could refine the Spirit Convergence pill. He did not expect this inconspicuous man to be an alchemist grandmaster. This really surprised him. One had to know that an alchemist grandmaster was not a cabbage, and it was even more difficult to befriend a grandmaster alchemist. No wonder his master said that he was very lucky. Now it seemed that it was true. However, he was so lucky that no one would be jealous. If a random companion could find a grandmaster alchemist, no one would believe him. Of course, he would not be stupid enough to tell anyone. However, after knowing that Zheng Yan was a grandmaster alchemist, the way he looked at Leng Ruoxue and the others immediately changed. Don't look at us like that, or you'll regret it, Leng Ruoxue warned. I'm just a little excited. My luck is a little too good. Ren Xian said excitedly. You're excited in 3 months. It's a little early. Leng Ruoxue poured cold water on him. That's true. Ren Xian calmed down, but his fiery eyes still drifted to Jing En from time to time. Don't look at me like that. I'm not interested in men. Jing En's hair stood on end from Ren Xian's gaze and he hurriedly said, I'm not interested in men either. I'm just interested in alchemists, Ren Xian said honestly. Then don't look at me with that disgusting gaze. Otherwise, I'll beat you up. Zheng clenched his fists and warned. You're so violent. Ren Xian shrank his head and lowered it, not daring to look at Jing En again. Boo! The situation was pressing, so he had to lower his head. Who asked him to be alone? Everyone is a little tired today. Let's camp here. We'll walk in tomorrow. Leng Ruoxue calmly looked at Ren Xian, who looked aggrieved, and said with a light smile. Okay. Everyone nodded and got to work. 3 days later, Leng Ruoxue and the others walked almost a quarter of the way in the dark night seas, and the herbs and minerals they passed naturally fell into their pockets. Miss, this place is really big. If we really have to stay here for 3 months, I think we have to find a fixed place to camp, Ching Wu suggested. Yes, let's find a suitable place while walking. After all, there are still many places we haven't been to. Leng Ruoxue thought for a moment and said, Yeah. They all nodded. Suddenly, there was a rustling in the woods where they were. What's that noise? Peach asked fearfully. Why did it sound so pathetic? Lu Tao, don't be afraid. I'll protect you. Feng De quickly comforted her. At the same time, everyone rolled their eyes at him. Rustle, rustle. The sound grew louder and reached their ears from all directions, accompanied by a fishy smell. Everyone be careful. Leng Ruoxue thought for a moment and held the cold shadow in her hand. She already knew what this sound was coming from. As soon as Leng Ruoxue finished speaking, a black shadow as fast as lightning suddenly pounced at her. The cold shadow, in her hand, turned and directly split the black shadow into two. Then, everyone saw a black snake as thick as an arm lying on the ground, its broken body still twisting. More than that. In an instant, more snakes surged toward them from all directions. They were now standing in a small copse of trees. So many of the snakes were poking their heads out of the branches, staring at them with dark eyes like prey. Damn it, where did so many snakes come from? Ren Xian said with his scalp tingling. He hated snakes the most. They looked strangely disgusting. Delicious humans. At this moment, the snakes made way for a golden python that crawled out slowly. It was not difficult to tell that it was the king of these snakes. Oh, a delicious snake. Leng Ruoxue looked at the golden python as if she was looking at a prey. The golden python was huge, almost 100 meters long and about 10 meters thick. The scales on its body were as transparent as golden crystal, and there were complicated dark patterns on them. In short, it was a rather beautiful snake. I can't eat humans. The golden python was furious when it heard Leng Ruoxue's words. You're just a small snake, what's there to not eat? Leng Ruoxue asked with a faint smile. Little snake? How am I small? Open your eyes and take a good look. Am I small? The golden python roared. Oh, it doesn't look small, and it's quite fat. There's also quite a lot of meat, enough for us to eat, Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. Damn it, human, I told you I can't eat it, the golden python snarled, his temper flaring. He was clearly furious. Calm down. In my eyes, you can eat it. Moreover, it should taste good. Leng Ruoxue smiled. Well. This snake was a level 9 transcendent divine beast. She had never eaten such a high-level snake before. Damn it. I can't eat it. The golden python's anger surged. Then, it directly ordered its subordinates, go, except for this woman, everything else is yours. Chapter 870, Dark Night Seas 4. The reward that it mentioned meant that its underlings could eat it. Therefore, when the snakes heard its words, they were all rather excited. However, they were soon not happy. Let's not stand on ceremony. Other than this golden one, we don't care about anything else, Leng Ruoxue instructed. Then, with a slight twist of her wrist, the cold shadow in her hand emitted a terrifying sword light. At the same time, along with her meteor shower, thousands of sharp sword lights emitting cold air attacked the snakes present. In an instant, countless snakes died. Leng Ruoxue's attack stunned all the snakes. However, when they reacted, they were all killed by Feng De and the others. In an instant, the golden python and Ren Xian were stunned. This was because none of them expected Leng Ruoxue and the others to attack so quickly and ruthlessly. They were even merciless. In the blink of an eye, the golden python became a lone commander. How does a delicious snake feel? Leng Ruoxue asked with a naughty smile. I can't eat that, whispered the golden python, wincing. At this moment, it was simply two extremes compared to the Snake King who was showing off just now. If Leng Ruoxue wasn't very sure that this golden python was still the one just now, she would probably think that it had been switched. You're a level 9 transcendent divine beast. The meat is definitely more delicious than other snakes, Leng Ruoxue said with certainty. Usually, the higher the level of the beast, the more delicious the meat. However, very few people dared to eat a level 9 transcendent divine beast. The reason why she didn't eat it was that divine beasts could transform into humans, so she couldn't eat it. My meat is smelly and doesn't taste good, really. Don't eat me. Boo-hoo, the golden python begged. As it spoke, fist-sized tears kept rolling down its huge snake eyes. Don't pretend to be pitiful. You're the king of those snakes and a level 9 transcendent divine beast. Is that all you have? Leng Ruoxue was a little speechless. She still liked the snake that was a little arrogant just now. At least, she would feel a sense of accomplishment if she beat it up, but this one. She wasn't even interested in beating it up. Yes, I'm very timid. Other than scaring those snakes, I don't dare to bully others. Boo! Let me go! The golden python's eyes were filled with tears as it begged pitifully. Boo! These humans clearly didn't look very strong, but it didn't expect them to be so tough. If it had known earlier, it wouldn't have found trouble with these guys even if it was beaten to death. However, it seemed to be too late now. Its life. It still didn't know if it could keep its life. Let you go just because you say so? How embarrassing would that be for me? Leng Ruoxue rolled her eyes at the golden python. Well, it could only be considered unlucky since it dared to find trouble for her. I have many treasures. I'll give them all to you. Let me go. The golden python begged pitifully. In front of these ruthless humans, it didn't dare to move, let alone have any other thoughts. These people were really too scary. Boo! Oh, take it out and take a look. If you satisfy me, I can let you go, Leng Ruoxue said with a smile, even though she didn't think that a snake would have anything she liked. It's all in my hole, the golden python said honestly. Where's your hole? Leng Ruoxue asked calmly. Not far from here. Do you want to come with me? The golden python asked cautiously. Of course, if I don't go with you, where can I find you if you run away? Leng Ruoxue said matter-of-factly. Even though it was said that a strong dragon could not suppress a local snake, this snake was obviously a native of the dark night seas, so she naturally wouldn't let it go. She was still counting on this snake to be their guide. In case they got lost here. Then come with me, the golden python said like a little wife. Lead the way. Leng Ruoxue ordered. Yes. The golden python did not dare to resist at all. Even though it was a level 9 transcendent divine beast, it was born timid. Therefore, under Leng Ruoxue's strength, it did not dare to resist at all. Moreover, Leng Ruoxue had killed so many snakes just now, which made it feel fear. How could it dare to disobey? After all, its life was still in the hands of this terrifying woman. The golden python transformed into a small snake and crawled on the ground. Leng Ruoxue and the others followed closely behind it. Not long after, they followed it to a cave. This cave was not big, and the mountain was only half the height of a person. Moreover, in the dark night seas, there seemed to be many hills of this size. Don't play tricks. Leng Ruoxue warned. I wouldn't dare. The golden snake whined. Boo! It was a cowardly snake. Why didn't these people believe it? Then, Leng Ruoxue and the others followed the golden snake into the cave. They made several turns and finally arrived at the snake's nest. How did a snake like you get so many things? Leng Ruoxue looked at the items that almost filled the entire cave and couldn't help but ask. Chapter 871, Retribution 1. The items in front of him were piled up like a small mountain. There were all kinds of things. In addition to herbs and ores, there were actually human weapons. It's just a robbery. The little golden snake smiled shyly. Didn't anyone realize that you're just a strong-looking but useless guy? Leng Ruoxue couldn't help teasing. You're the ones who are too perverted, okay? The golden snake muttered aggrievedly, tears still flickering in its eyes. Damn it, how are we perverted? Feng De roared unhappily when he heard this. The golden snake coiled itself into a ring in fear and buried its head, not daring to look at Feng De and the others. Boo! These people were so scary. When would they leave this place? Thinking of this, it couldn't help but pray to the heavens, hurry up and let these terrifying humans leave this place. Ren Xian agreed with the little golden snake's words. Boo! This little snake was right. These people were indeed abnormal. He was a mystic supremacy after all. However, he had no chance to attack in front of them. Boo! This hurt his pride too much. Little snake, are you sure you want to give us all these things? Leng Ruoxue asked with a faint smile. Yes, I'll give it all to you as long as you're willing to let me go, the golden snake said quickly, revealing a small head. But most of your things here are useless to me. Leng Ruoxue deliberately sighed and said regretfully. Wu, then what will it take for you to let me go? The golden snake asked pitifully, its eyes filled with pleading. Tell me first, do I have to stay in the dark night seas for 3 months? Otherwise, I won't be able to get out? Leng Ruoxue asked calmly. She had to confirm this. I think so. I'm not really sure. The golden snake was honest. Aren't you a beast from the dark night seas? How can you not know? Leng Ruoxue glared and questioned unhappily. You said I was a beast too. How could I know? The little golden snake cried. It was just a snake that liked to eat and sleep. It had been here since it was born, so naturally, it didn't know how long it would have to stay here before it could leave, because it never wanted to leave. Sigh. Since you don't know, forget it. I can't force you, Leng Ruoxue said helplessly. That's great. You're willing to let me go, the golden snake said happily, but it was obvious that it had misunderstood. When did I say I was going to let you go? Leng Ruoxue smiled evilly. What do you mean? The golden snake's eyes widened in disbelief. No wonder the beasts here said humans were cunning. Boo! Humans were so bad. You haven't satisfied me yet? You can't answer the questions I ask, Leng Ruoxue said with slight disappointment. Boo! Then what do you want? As long as you don't eat me, you can do whatever you want. The golden snake lowered its head in grievance. It's very simple. Be our guide and we'll let you go after we leave the dark night seas. How about that? Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. Even though Leng Ruoxue was asking for the golden snake's opinion, the little snake knew very well that if it didn't agree, it would definitely become a dead snake in the next moment. Boo! The situation was very disadvantageous to it. I promise. Those who knew what they were doing were wise, and the golden snake was certainly no exception. That's a good snake. I only want herbs and ores here. I'm not interested in anything else. Take us to find more herbs and ores. When we leave this place, we won't treat you badly. Leng Ruoxue said, using the carrot and stick approach. She still needed this guide very much after all. Moreover, with the level 9 Transcendent Divine Beast in the Dark Night Seas, she believed that the Transcendent Divine Beasts below level 9 wouldn't dare to disturb them. Okay, nodded the golden snake. Let's head out. Leng Ruoxue put all the herbs and ores in the cave into the bracelet and said. Everyone nodded and left the cave the way they had come. After leaving the cave, they followed the guidance of the golden snake and found a spacious and flat place to be their temporary camp. According to the snake, this place had a good view and could be the first to discover danger. Everyone set up their tents and started to make a fire to cook. Naturally, they ate snake meat. The golden snake lying nearby smelled the fragrance of the snake meat and felt extremely depressed. Boo! Those were its subordinates. Now they had become food for these humans. It regretted finding these perverted humans. After the snake meat was roasted, everyone ate heartily. At the same time, Leng Ruoxue and the others let the beasts out to enjoy the delicious snake meat. They also asked the golden snake, but the snake told them that it was vegetarian. However, seeing the obvious disbelief in their eyes, the golden snake lowered its head and looked away from them. This snake says it's a vegetarian, miss. Is that possible? She asked curiously as she ate and stared at the little golden snake. How is that possible? In the beginning, it even said that we were delicious humans. Leng Ruoxue said with a faint smile. She didn't expect the snake in front of her to have a conscience and was unwilling to eat its own kind. This was quite rare for beasts. Yes, but what if it doesn't eat? If it starved to death, we wouldn't have a guide, said Peachy worriedly. Send this to it. I don't mistreat employees. Leng Ruoxue took out a rabbit from her bracelet and handed it to Lu Tao. Yes. Lu Tao took the rabbit and roasted it over the fire for a while. Then, she walked to the golden snake and placed the rabbit meat in front of it before returning to Leng Ruoxue and the others' seats. The golden snake looked up at Leng Ruoxue and the others, then at the roasted rabbit in front of it. It took a deep breath and finally couldn't resist the temptation of food and ate the rabbit. Chapter 872, Retribution, 2, Smells Good. At this moment, a voice suddenly sounded in Leng Ruoxue and the others' ears. When everyone heard this voice, they all looked at Ren Xian at the same time. "Why are you looking at me?" Ren Xian asked awkwardly. "Another person like you." Feng De teased. They're different from me." Ren Xian felt wronged. He was alone, okay? However, from the sound of the footsteps, it was obvious that there was more than one person. As soon as Ren Xian finished speaking, the person who spoke had already arrived in front of Leng Ruoxue and the others. His eyes were fixed on the snake meat roasting on their fire as he asked, "This meat smells so good. Can you sell us some?" Feng De raised his eyelids slightly and looked at the man who spoke. He said calmly, "There are so many of you. Don't tell me you can't even get some food. We're too tired to hunt." Before the man could say anything, a young woman interrupted. Then she ran in front of Leng Ruoxue and the others and kept winking at Feng De. It seemed that the person who spoke was their leader. The woman guessed self-righteously. Moreover, she felt that with her outstanding looks, she could definitely get food from these people. "Miss, your reason is really," Feng De smiled helplessly, not knowing what to say. "Wonderful? You'll have pity on us," the woman said narcissistically. "It sucks." Cheng Wu interrupted. "That's right. Just admit that you failed at hunting. Why are you still saying that it's too tiring? What does it have to do with us if you're tired? Besides, if your stamina can't keep up here, you'll drag others down." Lin Yuan sneered. "Damn it, what did you say?" "I'm talking to your leader. It's not your place to speak." The woman retorted unhappily. "How did you know I was their captain?" Feng De was very puzzled. This woman didn't look like such a discerning person. "I can tell from the clothes you're wearing." "Look at what you're wearing? Look at them?" The woman's beautiful face was filled with disdain for Lin Yuan and the others. Ugh! Feng De was speechless. He knew it. How could this woman have good taste? It turned out that she was another person who judged people by their appearance. Actually, the clothes on his body were the worst. If he hadn't been afraid of dirtying his clothes while cooking, he wouldn't have changed into this. Now, he had been misunderstood and even treated as his head. What was going on? Can you give us some food?" The woman pretended to be shy and asked. Her eyes were watery and charming. "No." Feng De rolled his eyes and said in a neutral tone. "But I'm the #1 beauty in the Royal Dragon continent." The woman's eyes widened in disbelief. She was so surprised. She had never dreamed that a peerless beauty like her would be rejected by a man. "So what?" Feng De asked in disdain. This woman was really narcissistic. Didn't she see his miss? His miss was much more beautiful than this woman. "So what? I'm the most beautiful woman on the Royal Dragon continent, and now I'm asking you for a favor. What a great opportunity! Shouldn't you be coaxing me and trying to please me?" The woman glared at him and said matter-of-factly. Even in her heart, she thought that she was thinking highly of him by being willing to beg Feng De. After all, it wasn't often that she gave people such opportunities to help her. You're the most arrogant woman we've ever seen." Cheng Wu couldn't help but laugh. There were all kinds of birds in a big forest. This woman in front of him was really a top-notch woman. When the others heard Cheng Wu's words, they could not help but sneer. "That's because I have the right to be arrogant. Others can't do this even if they want to," the woman said indifferently because she felt that Cheng Wu was praising her. Ugh! It was Cheng Wu's turn to be helpless. Boo! He had underestimated this woman's shamelessness. Boo! She was shameless to the core. "Miss, can you please stay away from us? Otherwise, I'm afraid I'll accidentally vomit everything I just ate," Feng De said. He had really never seen such a woman. Today was an eye-opener. How dare you do this to me? You'll regret it." The woman stomped off angrily. "I'm sorry. She's been spoiled since she was a child," the man said sheepishly, his face alternating between red and white. After all, the woman's words had embarrassed him as well. I can give you guys some food, but can you promise me something? Feng De said mysteriously. What is it? The man was curious. If we give you the food, you'll immediately leave with your team. How about that? Feng De discussed. What he meant was that he would take the food and scram. Well, we've been walking a lot today and we're really tired. How about tomorrow? Well, leave immediately tomorrow morning. How does that sound? The man bargained. Leave now. Otherwise, go hunt yourselves, Feng De said without hesitation. Cousin, why are you still talking nonsense with them? If you want to fight, then fight. Who cares about their things? When the woman heard Feng De's words, she immediately shouted unhappily. You heard me. Hurry up and hunt for yourselves. If you're late, the little animals will sleep, Feng De said with a smile. Then he ignored the man. The man sighed in exasperation and turned back to his companions, who had set up their tents. It looked as if they planned to camp there too. You guys should rest early after eating. Seeing that the stranger was no longer pestering her, Leng Ruoxue pulled the freak up and put away the beasts before entering the tent. Once inside the tent, they went straight back to the bracelet. In the purple bamboo house, Leng Ruoxue lay in the freak's arms and observed the commotion outside through Qingju. Feng De and the others were still eating, and the man had also arranged for someone to go hunting. However, the woman had started arguing with her companion again. Chapter 873, Retribution, 3. Swear, we encountered another team from the Royal Dragon Continent this time, the freak said with a chuckle. Yes. Leng Ruoxue nodded. There were about 30 people in this team, and only one woman. The others were all around Mystic Sovereign strength, and that woman was Mystic Monarch. I wonder if I'll encounter people from other continents here. The freak was looking forward to it. This Dark Night Seas was not simple. Since you're here, take it easy. Leng Ruoxue closed her eyes. The freak chuckled and hugged Shuer to sleep. The next day, Leng Ruoxue and the freak had just left the tent when they found Lu Tao confronting the arrogant woman from yesterday. Cui Zhu, what happened? Leng Ruoxue asked Cui Zhu softly. That woman took a fancy to our breakfast. Just as she was about to use her charm to ask Feng De for it, she was seen by Lu Tao. Cui Zhu said, wishing for the world to be in chaos. Is Lu Tao jealous? Leng Ruoxue was very curious. No, she was bored, Cui Zhu said knowingly. Oh, then let's have breakfast. Leave to Lu Tao to clean up that woman, Leng Ruoxue said lightly. With that, she pulled the freak to the dining table. Okay, Cui Zhu said with a smile, but her eyes kept glancing at the peach. Focus on eating, Leng Ruoxue chided. Cui Zhu stuck out her tongue and started eating. On Lu Tao's side, the two of them were already fighting. However, he did not see any sword flashes because Lu Tao defeated the woman in one move. Lu Tao clapped her hands again and came to the table to sit down and eat breakfast. On the other side, cousin, you have to avenge me. The woman ran to the man and wailed. Revenge for what? The man asked mildly, frowning. I was beaten up. Aren't you going to avenge me? The woman said with tears in her eyes. Boo! That woman was too ruthless. She actually slapped her in the face. How could she face anyone? Aren't you going to have a fair duel? Then what's the point of revenge? You can't expect me to hit a woman. The man suppressed the impatience on his face and spoke even more coldly. But I was the one who was beaten. She wasn't hurt. Boo! Cousin, you don't love me anymore, the woman whined. Behave yourself and don't cause trouble for me. This isn't a family where you can do whatever you want, the man warned, then ignored her. Seeing that her cousin was unwilling to help her, the woman had no choice but to seek help from her admirers. Unfortunately, those people all acted according to the man's instructions. If her cousin was unwilling to avenge her, they naturally did not have the guts. Are you still men? Seeing that her goal could not be achieved, the woman said hatefully and ignored the people around her angrily. The farce here did not affect Leng Ruoxue and the others' mood for eating. After dinner, Leng Ruoxue ordered the golden snake to bring them around. However, when they left, the team had yet to leave, so Leng Ruoxue pulled the freak around their tent and sprinkled some colorless, transparent things. She was afraid that their tent would go in and steal something. Moreover, they would return here later, so there was naturally no need to pack up the tent. "Is it all right if we leave like this, miss?" said Lu Tao worriedly on the way. "No problem, I've already arranged it." Leng Ruoxue chuckled, not worried at all. The golden snake leading the way couldn't help but feel uneasy after hearing Leng Ruoxue's words. It had never seen the poison this perverted woman had scattered around the tent, but it knew very well that the poison was very poisonous. Whoever touched it would be unlucky. Evening. Leng Ruoxue and the others circled the vicinity and gained a lot. Then they returned to their camp. However, as soon as they returned to their residence, the man greeted them. "Why are you still here?" Fengde asked in confusion. Were these people here to camp in the dark night seas? It seemed like they had been here for a day. "My cousin has been poisoned. Can you save her?" The man pleaded, his handsome face filled with resignation and frustration. "How did your cousin get poisoned? We couldn't save her, could we?" Lu Tao said dismissively. "She went around your tent by accident. And then she was poisoned." The man's face was a mixture of green and red. He looked embarrassed and angry. "How is that possible? Why would she come around our tent for no reason? We weren't here. Could it be that she wanted to steal something? I really couldn't tell that your cousin was that kind of person." Lu Tao exclaimed in pity. Her words made everyone laugh. "She just accidentally walked around your tent." The man was clearly not confident because even he did not believe this, let alone these people in front of him. However, he could not admit that his troublesome cousin wanted to enter his tent to drug him. So, this time, his family's reputation had been completely lost by his cousin. If this were to spread, outsiders would definitely think of their Xianyuan family clan. "Then she's really careless," Leng Ruoxue said calmly. Xianyuan Yi looked up at Leng Ruoxue, who was speaking, and his eyes immediately revealed a stunned expression. What a beautiful woman! Why didn't he notice her yesterday? In fact, it wasn't that he didn't notice it yesterday, but Leng Ruoxue had deliberately lowered her presence. In addition, it was dark at night in the dark sea, so it was normal that he didn't see Leng Ruoxue. But now, he couldn't help but be shocked. His cousin's looks were like the moon and dust compared to the woman in front of him. There was no comparison. "How is she?" Leng Ruoxue looked at Xianyuan Yi with a faint smile. "She has already been punished. Can you give her the antidote?" Xianyuan Yi begged, his eyes filled with sincerity. Chapter 874, Retribution 4. There's no antidote. We used that poison to expel poisonous insects. No one will die. However, she will definitely suffer, Leng Ruoxue said calmly. She really won't die? Xianyuan Yi was a little suspicious. His troublesome cousin, Xiang Ning, had been unconscious all this time. After all, they were relatives. Of course, he didn't want Xiang Ning to die here. "I guarantee on my honor that she won't die," Leng Ruoxue said confidently, nearly swearing. "That's good." Xianyuan Yi was relieved when he heard Leng Ruoxue's words. As long as Xiang Ning didn't die, it didn't matter. But he didn't think so for the next few days, because while it was true that his cousin wasn't dead, she might as well be. Xianyuan Yi sat by the fire, but he kept hearing Xiang Ning's screams. This sound had been going on for several days. What's more, Xiang Ning actually showed signs of wanting to pounce on men when she saw them. So, what should he do? Every time he encountered such a situation, he could only knock Xiang Ning unconscious to prevent her from embarrassing the Xianyuan family. "How long is she going to be like this, my lady?" Lu Tao asked quietly, listening to a nearby scream. "I don't know," Leng Ruoxue said irresponsibly. This medicine was newly refined by her. She still didn't know how effective it was. It was currently being experimented on. Just like that, Leng Ruoxue and the others left early and returned late every day. No matter how far they walked, They would eventually return to the camp because they still had experiments here. Because of Xiang Ning's poison, Xin Yuan Yi and the others had never left this place. That cousin Xiang Ning still suffered from poison every day. In the first few days, Xiang Ning still had the strength to scream. However, after a few days, her throat was hoarse and she finally couldn't scream. Only then did everyone's ears finally calm down. A month later, the effects of the drug were fading from Xiang Ning's body, but her beauty was gone forever. Moreover, her skin had turned dark and rough, and it was covered with potholes. She had scratched herself when the drug had taken effect, and she couldn't stand the itch. When she saw how she looked now, Xiang Ning couldn't take it. She cried out, "Wow!" Unfortunately, no one sympathized with her. Alas, she had evil intentions and wanted to go to someone's tent for no reason. Now she had done it. She had harmed herself instead. This was called asking for it. Wu, Xiang Ning cried, but there was no one around to coax her. "Don't cry. It's good enough that you're still alive," Xin Yuanyi said impatiently. His cousin always liked to cause trouble. Now, she had gotten her retribution. Let's see if she still dared to be dishonest in the future. "Cousin, how can I face anyone in this state?" Xiang Ning sobbed. "Boo, don't cry. When we return to the Royal Dragon Continent, Uncle will treat you," Xin Yuanyi reminded. "Yes." Xiang Ning immediately stopped crying after hearing Xin Yuanyi's words. "That's right. Father will try his best to rule by the law. After all, my beauty is still very useful. Father will definitely not be willing to see me like this. It's all because of those people." Thinking of this, Xiang Ning immediately ran to Leng Ruoxue and the others and started throwing a tantrum again. "It's all your fault. I won't let you off. When we return to the Royal Dragon Continent, my father will avenge me." Xiang Ning threatened, her eyes burning with anger. "Okay, well wait, but don't blame me for not reminding you. You'll still be alive this time. If I use you as an insect to drive you away again, I can't guarantee that you'll still be alive." Leng Ruoxue chuckled, and the beautiful smile on her face pierced Xiang Ning's face. However, when she saw Lu Tao glaring at her, she shrank back. Then she ran back to Xin Yuanyi and the others. After this incident, she knew that the people around her would not stand up for her. Therefore, she could only endure it. "Boo! Let's pack up and leave this place," Leng Ruoxue instructed. Since the experiment had been completed, it was time for them to change to another camping spot. After all, if they went too far now, it would be a waste of time to come back. There was nothing to wander around within a kilometer here. Yes. Everyone nodded. Then they started to pack up. They had watched a lot of fun in the past month. It was indeed time to leave. After packing up, Leng Ruoxue and the others left without looking back. "Young master, should we?" After Leng Ruoxue and the others left, a person beside Xin Yuanyi made a throat-slitting gesture and asked softly with a fierce gaze. "Can you defeat them?" Xin Yuanyi said indifferently. Their numbers and strength were above theirs, yet they still wanted to kill them. They were really brainless. That person was a little embarrassed and did not dare to say anything else. In the past month, they had found many excuses to fight with Feng De and the others. They were indeed not their match, but they were really aggrieved. "This place is filled with danger, but we didn't encounter any danger here for a month. Perhaps we were lucky, or perhaps it's because there are more people in the two teams, so it's better not to make enemies here easily, in case we're alone and helpless," Xin Yuanyi said very calmly. In fact, he really didn't blame Leng Ruoxue and the others because everything was caused by that restless Xiang Ning. He knew this very well. "Pack your things. Let's leave too," Xin Yuanyi instructed again. "Yes," his subordinates replied in unison. After packing up, Xin Yuanyi and the others also left. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.